What's going on, everybody? What's happening? Appreciate you guys checking in. You got myself. I'm popping in here for a quick minute. Severe's going to join up with me in just a second. Chris had some stuff going on, so I can see Chris today, but definitely afterwards. Go check out Chris, Protect Your Podcast. Go hit him up. But been a minute since I've been on here. Again, Severe will be in here in just a few minutes, but I think it's been about 2 weeks. I had shout out to everybody that I saw at the Raider Nation Summer Kickoff in Bakersfield last weekend. I was driving home on Sunday, so couldn't jump on the Sunday. The Wednesday before that, because normally we go on Wednesdays and Sundays. The Wednesday before that, I had some family stuff I had to take care of, and so couldn't jump on Wednesday. And so it's been a minute. It feels good to jump on with y'all and just chop it up. We got OTAs that just started. So we're going to talk a little bit about the offensive line. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe some of the players that didn't show up to OTAs. You know, one of them, I think, I wanted him to show up. I want to know why he didn't show up, but there's a little bit, sounds like a contract dispute a little bit. We're going to see if that gets all ironed out, but I want to get you guys' take on it as well. But, you know, Kubiak came, hit the podium, gave us a little bit of information. But at the same time, it was kind of the first look with all these players hitting the offseason with the OTs to lead into the 2026 NFL season, man. It's exciting. It just means that what's cool about the Raider Nation Summer Kickoff, which was last Saturday, you just kind of know that day forward, things are going to start to fly. Next thing you know, players hitting the field. It's preseason games, and then all of a sudden it's week one. So shout out to everybody that I was able to see in Bakersfield. I'm going to give you guys a shout out here in just a quick minute, but I want to say what's up to a few people in the chat already popping through. And Robert, Penny, what's going on, man? I was finally able to see you kind of face-to-face link up in Bakersfield, man. It was good seeing you. Appreciate you just showing up, showing the love, man. It was all good, man. It was fun kicking with you, man. We got Jack in the building as well. What's going on? TK, what's happening, man? Appreciate you popping up. We got Isaiah in here as well. What's going on? Joshua, you got that Duval going. Must be a Jags fan, man. Appreciate you rocking with me. We appreciate everybody pulling up for a quick minute, man. Do me a huge favor. Double tap touchscreen, hit the like button, hit the sub button if you can. But also, I know Severe always kind of throws out there's a hype button as well. If you guys can hype the video, I guess it just kind of helps the algorithm kind of push everything through. So, but definitely appreciate it. But if you guys don't know, we hit you guys on Wednesdays like today, but we also hit you guys on Sundays. We're taking Sundays off until probably July just because news is slow. Everything's slow, so definitely we take just a little bit of time off. But as soon as preseason games hit, the news really starts to fly. We're going to jump back on. We'll hit you guys on Wednesdays and Sundays. Right now we're just doing Wednesdays. But if you guys don't know, during the season, we also break down game film. We break down game film of every game on Wednesdays and just kind of give you our take on how the entire game played out. So definitely check in with that. But I definitely appreciate everybody popping up through. I got another one upstate New York. What's going on, Dave? Appreciate you popping up in here. Got a quick question for you guys. First, man, what are you guys most excited about with OTAs? What do you guys want to hear about? Do you guys want to hear about the quarterback competition between Fernando Mendoza as well as Kirk Cousins? You guys excited about that? You guys excited to see kind of Jeanty kind of get his reps in, as well as Mike Washington Jr., man? I think Mike Washington Jr. brings enough to the table to really compete with Jeanty and just kind of be that fire underneath him. I think Pete Carroll has kind of ruined that term for a lot of us with just that term of compete going into the training camp, going into the season. You know, but the reality is you want competition across the board, right? You want competition at all levels. And even if you have starters, you want guys that are going to be able to step up just in case someone gets hurt. We all know injuries happen, right? They happen every single year to the offensive line, running back room, cornerbacks, whatever it may be. But when it does happen, you want someone that's going to be able to step in and you don't fall off too much, right? You still want someone to come in here and you don't necessarily skip a beat and they end up being the hole in the offense or defense that really kind of takes that side of the ball and you kind of get a little bit of a downturn, right? The only way you do that is if you have true competition. Again, one of the reasons why I hate the fact that we moved on from Corey Bennett last year, just because I thought he brought some good competition into the room. Because, man, as soon as Sky Blue Kelly goes down. Guys start to get hurt. You just see the cornerback play and the question marks kind of arise. Jacorian Bennett could have been a damn good competition piece at a minimum in that cornerback room. So again, not to say that I don't want to get into that discussion, that argument, but it's just to show that having competition in the room is definitely something that's important to the success to a football team throughout the season. So, upstate, you're saying McCoy, Washington, O-line, D-line. We're going to talk about McCoy. We're going to talk about the O-line because there's been some reports that they at least have a starting offensive line taking the field. We're going to talk about that. There was a report on just how they're using Trey Zuhn. We'll touch on that a little bit. We're definitely going to talk about McCoy because he's out there kind of running full speed. Like, the injury really isn't something to worry about right now, but I'm going to get Spears' take on it. I'm going to give you mine, but I definitely want to get the chat's take as well. But we definitely got to see what this D-line is going to look like. And I'm with you, given the fact that, we didn't address a true nose guard. So does that mean Robbie Leonard is not going to set in a true, just traditional 3-4 look with a true zero tech nose guard? Is he going to run more even fronts where the nose guard now is maybe more situational, short yardage situations, goal line situations, that type of stuff? So it definitely is going to be interesting to see just kind of how the defensive fronts look like, and really the combination of defensive linemen that are going to be in the lineup together, right? Is it going to be an Adam Butler with, let's say, a Booker right next to him, or is it going to be an Adam Butler and a Jonah Laulu? We just don't know what it's going to look like, but it's definitely going to be fun to see this kind of play out. Man, Pena, shout to you, man. Let's chat. Yeah, man, it was fun. Appreciate you just rolling out there and saying what's up and rocking out with us, man. It was a lot of fun. Shout out to you. Silver, in fact, what's going on, man? Jacorian hasn't done squat since we traded him. If you're hurt, you're not competition. All right, availability is the best ability, right? So I understand that saying. But at the end of the day, again, I wasn't going to get in this argument, but just because Jacorian Bennett did get hurt, right? He got hurt with the Eagles. That is tough, right? You just can't anticipate injuries, but there are times where players all of a sudden, you kind of get tagged with that injury-prone title. And unfortunately, Jacorian Bennett, it kind of seems like he's kind of going through it. So you never wanted to anticipate an injury. I wasn't anticipating an injury last year before we let him go, but I think based on what he did the previous season, you can tell, yeah, he could have been good competition. But I'm with you. The best ability is availability, and unfortunately, it looks like that injury bug is definitely hitting him. So, Rose, hey, you just swipe up with that footage. God damn it, Rosetown. What's going on, man? Yeah, hey, Bakersfield was fun, but man, shout out to you. Benya, appreciate you. What up? Great Paul in the building. What's going on, man? D-Man, shout out to you as well, man. Chilling at the hotel, the after party, Bakersfield, the whole nine, man. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate you pulling up. It was good seeing you. I always see you at the home games as well. You always rock out in the tailgate, but definitely always good to link up with you, man. It's good seeing you. Let's see. Anybody else? What up? Jonas Duncan, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you popping up in here, man. Severe's going to be here in just a second. And, yeah, shout out to my guy, Chris, man. Remember, guys, like I said before, after this, definitely go over to Chris's channel. Go show some support over there. He's 1/3 of the Raider War Room. We hit you guys on Wednesdays. And we'll start Sundays back up here once information starts flying. But definitely for right now, you're going to hit us every Wednesday. Go over to Chris's, hit that sub button, hit that like button after you're done with this live. Shout out to my guy, Chris. What up, Big Luck? What's going on, brother? Let's see. Ready to play? You're saying you're going to LA week 2. You going? So my plan is to go home opener. Obviously, I'm out here in the Vegas area. I'll be at the home opener against Miami. My plan is to go to LA for the SoFi game. So that's the plan, and I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it off, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna stay in communication with my guy Chris as well as Severe. And I'm gonna try to make it out to that Saints game, man. That will be a wild 3 weeks to finish it off with New Orleans. That might be wild, but I'm definitely gonna try. But yeah, my plan is home opener, and then week 2 in SoFi, and then find a way to make it out to that Saints game. It's gonna be fire, man. But if you're going out there, man, it'll be good to see you and link up with you as well. So, yeah, let me know what you guys are looking forward to, because honestly, at the end of the day, OTAs is when you start to kind of get your footing. I think because we have a lot of question marks on where guys are going to play, or I guess are exactly going to play. You also brought in some guys that we're trying to figure out, okay, where are they going to play? Are they actually truly fighting for a starting position? We're going to talk about the O-line here in just a second, but Spencer Burford, right? He's got experience with Kubiak. Does that mean that he's going to have a little bit of upper hand based on what this O-line room looks like, because you went out and you got him? You brought him in through free agency, so you saw something in him that you think he brings to the table and can compete in this space with this offensive line room, and then you bring in guys like Trey Zuhn, right? Where is he going to play? Is he going to be a true safety, or is he going to be playing more as a nickel? But then if he does play as a nickel, you brought in a couple other people that could possibly compete in that nickel position. So it's all about where are these guys going to end up playing, and this is where they find out in OTA. Because what is really difficult about the offseason is that you don't have a lot of time to evaluate these players, because once it's time to, if you want to be ready by week 1, and yes, we were the worst team last year. We've got a lot of moving parts and a lot of new faces in the building, so you're going to have to evaluate, but you want to be as ready as possible by week 1 to really kind of set that groundwork, because once week 1 hits, there's not a whole lot of true development that goes on as it relates to the starters, right? You're game planning. You're putting your game plan for the next opponent, and there's very limited time in order to accomplish that. So the development and evaluation, it continues, but not as much as OTAs and prior to kind of the start of the preseason game. And so they're going to start slotting guys in, and I can see very quickly that through these OTAs, they're going to get a very good idea as to where these guys are going to be playing when they come back after, I think it's about a month stretch. These guys take a break and they come back. I think that they're going to be pretty set on where these guys are going to play. I hope, we're talking about the offensive line, I hope we don't go back through what we heard last year with Pete Carroll saying, man, it might be 6, 7, 8 weeks until we get this offensive line dialed in. You guys know I'm a huge building the trenches guy. You better have this thing dialed in by week 1, all right? You might have some competition here and there a little bit, but at the end of the day, you better have this O-line dialed in by week 1, because realistically, John Spytek has now had 2 free agencies and 2 drafts to get a really good idea as to what this O-line should look like. And I do hope that we're dialed in by week 1. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it kind of works out. See if anybody else has kind of popped over. Moon over Miami. What's going on? Appreciate you rocking with me as well. Good seeing you. Linda in the building. What's happening? Let's see. We got Savages. You're saying the Raiders booty. All right. Shout out to you. You just in here. Just hit the like button before you pop out. That's all I had. Appreciate you popping up in here. Let's see. What up, Jack? Shout out to you, man. Great seeing you as well in Bakersfield. Hey, shout out to you. Shout out to, man, a lot of content creators came out there. Jay Raider, obviously Cheeto Linus in the Cheeto Lounge. Everybody was just chilling out in the Cheeto Lounge. Joe Morley was out there, man. It was good seeing him. But shout out to you, Jack. Shout out to Stacktown, Raider Mike. Oh, you guys, Christopher Raider out there, Raider Nation Jason. Man, I know I'm missing people, but Raider Love was out there. Man, it was a fire time. Always fun. Definitely got a little bit of sun too. Oh, and LV Raider 10, Nate, man, and his girl out there, man. Always good seeing everybody. What up, Big John? What's happening? Let's see. All right. I see you, Linda. You're saying, since the Raiders not picking up Kurt's $80 million contract in 2027, is there a chance Raiders trade Kurt to a team during trade deadline? Maybe. Chad, let me know. Do you think that there's a chance that we go ahead and we move on from Kirk Cousins by the trade deadline? I think that's all dependent on the development of Fernando Mendoza, right? I think you bring in Kirk Cousins as much as that contract just was strange to me. It was, and I understand the writing was on the wall. As much as I was not a Fernando Mendoza fan at picking him at number 1, I always said it. If I was a betting man, 100% we're taking Fernando Mendoza. But that Kirk Cousins contract was really strange. So the question is, I definitely want to get my guys' take on this. So, Severe, you're coming up in here. What's happening, man? What's going on?
What's going on?
Appreciate you popping up in here. Good seeing you, man. It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
All I've been able to see is you and Chris yelling at people on Saturday nights. That's all I've been able to see, you know?
Yeah. That's about That's about 90% of what I do here on YouTube.
But shout out to you, man. If you guys don't know, you got the Severe Raider, man. Definitely hit that like button, hit that sub button wherever you're at. You know, Linda asked the question, do you see us trading Kirk Cousins? I kind of started out with just saying, look, that contract was just weird to start. It just didn't make any sense to me. If the plan was to pick Fernando Mendoza, and a lot of us agreed that was the plan. Like it or not, that was the plan. And what's strange is you take on that contract. I would not be surprised if you try to trade for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is only going to maybe agree to going to that other team with the possible restructure of that contract.
Yeah.
And now you're facing probably one of the greatest sports agents we've ever seen in the history of sports.
Exactly.
I mean, this guy, Kirk Cousins probably will not. Yeah, you could trade him, but then he's basically going to want to restructure a contract because no one's going to pay Kirk Cousins out that contract. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So I think what he'll do is if you trade him, Kirk Cousins will demand a restructure of the contract to make sure that you will not cut him before the next season. And then if you try to get into those negotiations and the numbers don't work out, you just wasted trade capital. So it works out for us ultimately because he's off the books.
Yeah.
But I just don't know anybody that would agree to a trade knowing that, shit, you might as well just let the Raiders cut him because that's the writing on the wall and then maybe try to pick him up for a better number. I don't know. Chat, let me know if you agree or disagree, but Severe, what's your thoughts on that of us possibly trading him near the trade deadline? Do you think that's an option?
Yeah, the only way I see us trading Kirk Cousins is if he requests a trade. Because if him being a veteran, has been in the league for a long time, respected around the league, you know, the greatest agent of all time. Like, if the president that would set, if he agreed to come here, you know, essentially under a mutually agreed upon deal where I'm here to mentor Fernando Mendoza for this year, and you know, this is where I'm going to be at for that year. If the Raiders were to trade him before that, without him having requested it, that would reflect very poorly upon the organization, and I think that would make other people who are in similar situations or maybe veterans looking for a one-year deal to try to latch on somewhere. I think that will make them hesitant to sign with the Raiders in the future. So I just think the best bet is to just let him play out the year on this contract and cut him before that other money becomes due.
I agree. You know, and look, if the Raiders do trade him, and it does get a little rocky when it comes to maybe a restructure or there weren't an agreement. You know, like, hey, players talk. You know, and that's why we've not only have we not been good, but that's also the reason why at times you find yourself overpaying for players, because players also know they remember what happened to previous players, and they don't want to find themselves in a very similar situation. And we got a player we're going to talk about that's not showing up to voluntary OTAs, but still not showing up. So the question is just, you know, how's that situation going to play out? And we're going to talk about it here in just a second. So, come more in here. Emmanuel, what's going on? Appreciate you rocking with us. D-Mesh, you're saying depends on Mendoza and the O-line. And you got Big John. Hey, whenever Big John shows some love outside of Pete Carroll, you gotta show it on the street.
Sure, you gotta show some love. Jack Ken, I miss my dog Jack Ken in Bakersfield, man. I didn't go this year. I heard Raider. Somebody else went down. Was it Robert Pena? I think Robert Pena drove down there.
D-Menace.
Yeah, man. Yeah, see, bro, I'm telling you, every time D-Menace is somewhere, it's just written, etched in stone, and me and D-Menace are never gonna meet. Because every time he's somewhere, I'm not there, or I just missed him.
Hey, I mean, all of them. Honestly, it was just the coolest vibe in Bakersfield, man. It was a lot of fun. Don't understand Cousins' contract is guaranteed if he is on the roster.
Yeah.
A few days after the new league year. Yeah. So
it's like 5 days, something like that.
Right. Falcons are paying. We're going to pay some as well, but obviously we have the option to cut him so we don't get that 2-year extension basically off of that. Right. So, yeah, I think a lot of things have to align in order for us to trade him. And I do think that's all based on and predicated off of the development of Fernando Mendoza. I just don't see with Tom Brady what he said in the past, we just throw him to the wolves if he's not ready. So, all right, let's see. Okay, Jack Kenny, yeah, I appreciate it. Do me a big favor. We're going to get into the topics. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. All that stuff. We definitely appreciate everybody rocking up in here. Let's see. All right. Let's do this. Let me see. There's a couple more coming up here. Do me a huge favor, guys. If you guys do have a comment or question, hit that hashtag Raiders just so I can see it. Because as I scroll through, man, sometimes I missed it. I apologize, but definitely hit that hashtag Raiders if you got something. So, okay, let's get to the first topic. All right. Let's see. Let me kind of bring this one down right quick. Okay. Let's talk about this offensive line. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Definitely want to get your guys' take on this. Again, this is very early. It's just OTAs, so we don't need to, get in too much panic mode about it or overthink it. But it's all the information that we have right now. But according to Ryan McFadden, starting offensive line kind of took the field a little bit. And these were the individuals that were currently at the starting with the starting offensive line. You got Colt Miller, left tackle. Spencer Burford, left guard. Tyler Lindenbaum at center. Not very shocking. JPJ at the right guard position. DJ Glaze at the right tackle. So that's who took the field with the starting unit. I didn't hear of any other offensive linemen not showing up to OTAs. So, chat, let me know if there's linemen that didn't show up. I saw a list, but I didn't see any offensive linemen on that list. And so, chat, let me know if you think if we were rocking week one with this starting offensive line, would you be confident in it? That's number one. But number two, I do want to just preface this. We'll talk about one of our third round draft picks, Trey Zuhn. There's a little bit of information how they're kind of playing him a little bit. I'm going to pick that up. I'll let you guys know what that looks like. But it's Spencer Burford's got some history with Clint Kubiak, right? But just keep in mind, we got a Caleb Rogers that Spy Tech drafted last year in the third round. We still got Jordan Meredith sitting there in the works. A little bit interesting seeing Spencer Burford kind of get those first team reps. So, chat, let me know thoughts about the offensive line. First one, Big John. O-line's in trouble already. All right, see? Love your comment about the hat, but John, you're bringing us back down to earth. I appreciate you. Severe, man, just initial thoughts on the guys that are taking number one reps to start out OTAs.
Not much of a surprise. The Spencer Burford thing, I don't like. Second year in a row where we're starting statistically the worst guard from the previous year, on our offensive line. But of the people of the guys on the roster presently, I think he's the guy with the most starting experience in the league. Obviously, he has some experience in the scheme coming over from the 49ers this last year. So that probably gives him a little bit of a leg up. And the fact that he was a free agent acquisition, I'm sure that plays a role in it as well. But other than that, no, pretty much what I was expecting. Burford was the only kind of surprise. And, whether Burford or JPJ were going to be right or left, I guess they're just intent on keeping JPJ on that right side for the time being, which I'm not mad at.
I'm not mad at it either. I mean, it's good just seeing JPJ getting those starting reps. They're not switching them all over the place and you put him as a backup on the damn depth chart to start the season. I think slotting him in with the ones, that's at least a good look to start. But I'm with you, Spencer Burford. Yeah, you got the history. I don't know if that's only because he's got the history of Clint Kubiak's system. he can go out there and kind of get those first reps and be the example, right? And I think, obviously, you guys that have rocked with me for a long time, I coached the game for a long time. And the thing is that Spencer Burford, you can call the play, he goes out, and you got guys like the Trey Zuhn, Jordan Meredith, the Caleb Rogers. They're watching Spencer Burford do the first rep. So it just confirms what they're supposed to do, and then they don't skip a beat when they get their reps in, and now you have to re-explain it because they're like, oh shit, what do I do? They at least get a visual to start out with the first rep. So I think that might be a reason why Spencer Burford is getting number one reps. Not that he's a number one, it's just that he's familiar with the system, and all the guys that aren't can see the example first, and it allows practice to run smoother. It allows practice to kind of like not skip a beat. You don't have to pause and stop and then explain, and then practice continues on. So he might just be in that spot as the example, so everybody else behind him understands what to do and gets confirmation as they get the line. So that's my thought. But obviously, legit, I love just seeing Colt Miller out there. Tyler Linderbaum's not a big surprise, but you got TK. You're saying not sure about Burford or Glaze. It'll remain to be seen just kind of what Glaze do we get. Yeah. That's the biggest thing for me. And you got Troy Gill. You said I'm worried about right tackle Glaze. Let's see. Frank Weber, those are the vets. You can maybe consider Spencer Burford a vet just because he's got the experience with Clint Kubiak. So maybe. Raquel in the build. Not too shocked at the offensive line. I knew Grant was a total project. He is. We'll see just how it develops. I think everybody took a back seat last year just in their development with Brendan Carroll on that offensive line. So, Duncan said Raiders O-line starters isn't surprising. They might like this look at first to keep Rogers and Zuhn available as swing tackles with the position versatility. Yeah. One thing I will say is I think I hear a lot of people saying Trey Zuhn, could be could play all five positions and maybe he's the future left tackle. I do think people are just forgetting about Charles Grant.
Like future left tackle? Oh, left tackle.
In the third round. But you kind of already had DJ Glaze there, right? And DJ Glaze was coming off of a decent season as a rookie. So you wanted to kind of build off of that. And then you went Caleb Rogers and you went Charles Grant. And my question is, was it to replace DJ Glaze that looked fairly promising at the tail end of the 2024 season? Maybe you looked at film and you didn't like what you saw, so you drafted a tackle, or because Charles Grant played left tackle. So I'm sitting there going, you got Colton Miller that's not on the right side of his prime, and you knew Charles Grant was going to be a project. My question is that the predecessor? Is that going to be the next guy for Colton Miller? I don't know. But at the end of the day, you draft him in the third round, fairly high. Maybe that is, or could be right. I have no clue. Which not.
Yeah. I mean, I think Charles Grant is obviously the heir apparent on the left side. And I don't hear them even putting him on the right side at all. He's basically almost exclusively worked on that left side. So then we hear where Trey Zuhn has been working out. That kind of confirms that as well. So if there is any kind of future left tackle on his team, it seems to be that Charles Grant is the guy that they are kind of grooming for that role in the future. Should they decide to move on from Colton Miller, or should Colton Miller go down with the injury again? Knock on wood for that. But I think that's the role that they expect him to play. I mean, the fact that you already said, that they had a guy like DJ Glaze already on the roster who showed some promise as a rookie, performed much better than many thought he would, including myself. And they still felt the need to draft a guy like Charles Grant in the third round. Right? It didn't seem like it was going to be to compete with him on the right side at that particular time. So it would have to be either as a swing tackle to cover for injuries, or to be the guy that takes over for Colton Miller in the future.
Yeah, because to your point, anytime he worked in preseason and even the tail end of the game, right, when Colton Miller goes down, and obviously Stone Forsythe wasn't the answer, but those last couple games he's working at left tackle. So all the signs point to the fact that they drafted him to be the next guy up after Colton Miller. And we all knew he was going to be a project going into it. So, yeah, that's why we're talking about Trey Zuhn in just a second. But shout out to Jeff. I'm just letting you know, Jeff. I was getting, what I was showing you was my rundown. That was the AI 805. That was the AI. I don't even know what you're there. I was in the Cheeto Lounge the whole time. The dance floor was not where I was. God damn it.
Hey, look, if you thought those were some moves, man, the year before, when the lighter shade of brown was there, oh man, 805 was cutting a rug. Oh man, there was no rug left after 805 got done cutting.
That was the hologram. That was the dance called, the hologram. What up, Dre? What's going on, man? Shout out to you, Jeff. Appreciate you. But it's early. Remains to be seen. That's just the ones that are jumping up out there. We'll see just kind of how it plays out. Again, it's going to be very interesting because we have to make sure this offensive line is on point, squared away. And now, again, like I said, Spytech has had 2 free agencies and 2 drafts to get this offensive line right. This is the year it's right. I understand might be a little bit of a scheme change between the offense last year and this year, but at the same time, you should only been maybe 1, possibly 2 pieces away, and you can address it between free agency and the draft. I hope our O-line looks damn good this year. That's at least my expectation. So, but we'll keep it on the offensive line take, and we got Clint Kubiak. He addressed a little bit of the media, and he talked about our guy Trey Zuhn. He said while he's got a lot of his reps at right tackle during OTAs today, will be used at tackle, guard, and center during the offseason and training camp practices. Chat, let me know what your thoughts are on this. I think we all know, a lot of us, you do research on Trey Zuhn, you know that he could basically play every position. But I've been a firm believer that if you try to play this guy at every single position, that then playing like left guard and then moving over to right tackle, they're night and day positions. Even right guard to left tackle. Or I'm sorry, right guard to left guard. Yeah. It's night and day positions. It's different assignments, right? There's different communication. It's different steps depending on the play, right? If it's the same exact run play, the right guard might have to go to the second level immediately, or the rule for the left guard is you're basically getting the guy that is in your inside gap. Like, it's 2 different responsibilities on the same exact play. So if you stretch this kid thin and now he has to learn all these different position groups, then you're not gonna allow him to reach his full potential. That's my concern. I want them to be able to solidify this kid, because if you go back and you look at the tape, as much as I didn't like the pick in the 3rd round, I like the player. You know what I'm saying? I like the player. But if he ends up just being some rotational or backup spot at 3 different positions, you're never going to get the best out of this kid. And that's my concern with kind of what this might play out to look like based on the offensive line. But chat, let me know what your thoughts are on Trey Zuhn. I got a little more to talk about, but definitely want Severe's take on this. Like, what's your thoughts? We draft him in the 3rd round. We all kind of want day 1 starters in the 3rd round, but it looks like they're just kind of moving around to see where does he fit best. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Ideally, I understand that Clint Kubiak was saying that he has the brain to do it, and he has the capacity to be able to handle all of these roles. But you gotta figure that at some point you're gonna get diminishing returns if you're moving a guy around that much. Especially his first year in the NFL, like it's going to affect his development as a player. So ideally they find a spot for him, let him work at that spot, or even if it's like 2 spots for him. Let's say they want him to work at right guard and right tackle. At least keep him on one side of the field, because the footwork from guard to tackle is differently, but at least you're still still the same side of the field, so you can make those adjustments. If you're having to completely switch your footwork and go to the other side of the field, like that's a difficult thing to do. Like imagine if one day somebody just switched your gas pedal and your accelerator. I mean your brake and your accelerator right in your car. Like, you know how that would jack you up? How long it would take you to get used to that? Like, it's going to take a while, right? And then they switched it back, a week later, and right after you got used to it. So it's like you don't want to keep doing that to a person, because a lot of playing football is muscle memory, right? You do it without thinking, and if you have a guy out there thinking too much, you want to have a plan, but if you're out there thinking too much, that's how you either react slow or you get beat. So that's what you don't want to put a guy in a position like that for, especially after you just spent 2 picks in the 3rd round the previous year on a guard and a tackle that could conceivably play on one side. So let those guys figure it out on the left side, and then Trey Zuhn can figure it out on the right side.
Yeah, and you got and shout to Dante, Gridiron Apex, man, guys. Definitely go check out Dante's channel. What up, Cheeto? What's going on, man? Shout out to you. Bakersfield is fun, man. When Cheeto breaks out the Cheeto Lounge, it's always good times, man. Shout out to you. Let's just let them go through camp before we sign where they play. I'm with you. The only problem that I have with that, in all honesty, and I hope it works out in the end, is being a 3rd round draft pick. I want you to know exactly where he's going to play. I want you to know exactly, have a damn good idea as to where this guy is going to play and help this team day one, right? It looks like they're trying to figure it out, and it's unsettling to me. We did this last year. We already did this with a Jack Besh that played 1 year at receiver, then you dropped him in the 2nd round. We did this with Darian Porter that had 1 year playing corner. But prior to that, he was a receiver. We're trying to figure out, can he play corner? We don't know. He had 1 year experience in college, right? Caleb Rogers, you waited to get Caleb Rogers, but he ultimately ended up just being a backup in the 3rd round. And then you get Charles Grant, that's a project from a small school. So you're trying to figure out, where is he going to play? Is he going to work out in the NFL? And then you get Trey Zuhn in the 3rd round. And now you're trying to figure out, where is he going to play? This is where it's just kind of unsettling. And now we're kind of getting this kind of we're starting to get a feel for how SpyTech basically drafts a little bit. And it seems like we're getting quite a bit of project in the early round, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. Again, I hope it all works out.
Kieran Crawford is another project, right?
Yeah, Kieran Crawford, 100%. So, I mean, we'll see. I hope that they solidify a spot. But at the end of the day, I hope he starts. Because if he starts, that means, and I'm okay with, listen, and let me preface this. I'm okay if you felt like you may have missed on a pick. If he ends up starting over Caleb Rogers, and I do have to say, ain't nobody going to overlook my guy Jordan Meredith. God damn it. My guy Jordan Meredith should be the starter on this goddamn football team. But neither here nor there. If Trey Zuhn ends up starting over Caleb Rogers, even though we got him in the 3rd round, maybe you missed, and that's okay, right? But if this offensive line ends up doing extremely well, and you've got the final pieces, then at the end of the day, you can excuse kind of a missing an early pick. That's fine. But if this offensive line still looks like crap, and Trey Zuhn isn't even seeing the field, then I got some issues. Then I got some problems, and so. But shout out to you, Cheeto. It is early. Let's see how it plays out. But at the same time, I hope we just zero this kid into a solid position. He's got the potential to be a really good player, just not sitting on the sideline as a 3rd rounder. we'll see how it works out. We will see how it works out. Shout out to everybody. Do us a huge favor. Help tap that screen, hit that like button, hit the sub button if you can. Remember, after this, go over to Chris Official Podcast, 1/3 of the Raider War Room, where we hit you guys on Wednesdays, typically Sundays, but off season, we only go Wednesdays until everything kind of gets a little bit more live. So, shout out to everybody. I think I see some people talking about Bakersfield. I mean, you're talking about me. God damn it. And I'm leaving that off the screen. God damn it, you guys are crazy. Yeah. There was a sign. So, Severe, we stayed at the same hotel as last year.
Yeah.
And there was a sign walking into the pool. I was just like, if you need to even put that sign up, and the pool was not looking great. We stayed clear from that pool. Even being in the pool area, we were afraid we might miss it. But that's neither here nor there. God damn it. So let's get to the next topic. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. We're gonna get to oh boy, Jermod McCoy, man. Shout out to you, Severe, man. This is a guy that you definitely wanted, especially in the round that we got him. I think you mentioned it before it happened. You said he was still on the board and you'd be good if we pulled the trigger. I know a lot of people were talking about that injury. I think the injury is still a little scary, all right? But he's out there. He's getting work. He's running full speed drills. He looks like he's moving smooth. I do have something to kind of say off of that. But according to Ryan McFadden, Jermod McCoy is doing individual drills with the other DBs today. He's also involved in the walkthrough period and filmed some punts. One thing I will say is I think a lot of skilled positions, they will just get in there and field punts here and there. So just because he's fielding punts, I don't necessarily think he's going to be a punt returner. But
Yeah.
Chat, let me know what your thoughts are. You like the fact that you see Jermod McCoy getting out there first day of OTAs? Let me know in the chat. That's your thoughts, man. Your boy, he's out there. He's working. Got to feel good to see him just kind of out there going full speed a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, definitely, man. I think I don't know who said it, but somebody said like during some of the walkthroughs or the team stuff, he was out there with the ones. So, you know, and Kubiak mentioned that he's way ahead of schedule. So if we get Jermod McCoy, a healthy Jermod McCoy, he's the best corner on our team, bar none. And we have a potentially very special player on our hands if he can stay healthy. Because, like, obviously he didn't play all of last year, but he was so good the year prior at 19 years old that even without playing this past year, if not for this new issue popping up, he was going to still be probably like a top 20 pick, maybe a top 15 pick. So that's how good he was as a 19-year-old, you know, like playing against grown men. So if he is able to get on the field, I think that is a huge win for us. And one of the reasons why I was so adamant that we take him in the fourth round, because, you know, draft picks that occur in the fourth round, those guys aren't owed any guaranteed money. So, like, you can take them there and you can cut them, and it's essentially risk free. So, but if he does work out, that is a huge get.
100%. And Cheeto, he said, you and Rundown said I'd be for Meredith. Hey, Meredith has been my guy before Cody Whitehair. God damn it. All right. And I can't believe I just said the guy's name again. But I knew that preseason when we picked up Cody Whitehair and I saw Jordan Meredith in preseason, I said, this guy needs to be our starting guard. And look, when he got in, he did well. But we'll see. We'll see how my guy
be damn good
pulls off. So let me get just a couple comments in here. Let's see. We got Cole Kev. You're saying McCoy's damaged goods. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. You know, good sign here. And Alex has a plan for him.
Yeah.
Let's see, Rosetown. McCoy will be just fine. He only needs a night the bunny race to come in. Now, Rosetown, see, now I got to screen your goddamn comment. Right. So, look, for me, I think it's great seeing him out there. Running full speed. Maybe, you know, get some work with the ones if that's what's going on. You know, tough part is you just hope he stays healthy. You're crossing your fingers and nothing happens that need. Point blank period. Because you healthy till you're not. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
Like you could look damn good in every single drill from now until that one moment. And that one moment, I hope it doesn't come. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the only tough part is when you come into the league with that type of injury and there's reports out there saying that you're going to eventually possibly need surgery. I don't know how true it is or what the path is to that. The unfortunate part is, everybody's going to be on kind of pins and needles. And you could look great. You could run full speed. You could be a damn good player until you're not. So I just hope everything's good. I hope the injury never reared its head. We got ourselves a steal.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And so I will bring this up. Cool, Kevin, how many gambles have the Raiders taken on injured guys walking to the door? That is tough. We do have some PTSD. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you look at the past, right? Obviously, we just had Tyree Wilson. Who was that? There was the D lineman from, I think he played at Michigan State where he came in and
Shalik Calhoun?
Yeah, Shalik Calhoun. I think he had like a knee injury or something like that he was recovering from.
Oh, possibly. I don't remember. I mean, but like Tyreek was a different situation. I knew Tyreek was ass when he drafted him. So I got, and people tried to like retroactively say, oh, he's not good because of his foot, just his foot issue. But he was just bad. That's just what it was. So but like, it's fine to take gambles on injured players if you do it correctly, right? Like us drafting DJ Hayden in the first round, obviously, that's something that should have happened because, that's first round pick, right? Like you don't want to do that in the first round. And I think the NFL has, they've adapted to that thinking for the most part. That's why Jermod McCoy was available in the fourth. So I think a fourth round risk, like we talk about, we can talk about the times it didn't work, but the time it did work was with Michael Bush, right? Like we got a guy that was, should have been drafted, probably earlier. He was probably going to be in the running for the Heisman Trophy had he stayed healthy at Louisville, but he didn't, and we were able to, get him much later than he would have gone normally, and it worked out for us. So I think, taking calculated risks on injured players, especially a guy that young with that much potential that had already showed you his athleticism is still there because he ran a 4.38, at his pro day, like that's a very high reward, very low risk proposition.
Absolutely. In the fourth round, with a player of that caliber, you can take that risk. Right? That's a good risk to take of that caliber. So I don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. Again, if it works out, man, it definitely could be the steal of the draft. What up, Jason? It was good seeing you in Bakersfield, big dog. Good seeing you. Jack, you're saying PFF had Meredith ranked 10th. I don't like PFF, but sometimes they get it right. But look, with Jordan Meredith, and again, I'll get off my soapbox after this one, but 350 plus passing snaps, 0 sacks allowed in the 2024 season. You watched him; he was very technical in the run game. He was probably our best run blocker of that season. O-line wasn't great overall, but we broke down the game film every single week and showed you day in and day out every single game just how effective he was against the run. Not the biggest guy. He's not gonna run you over, but he was going up against guys like Vita Vea and Chris Jones twice a year. Like he wasn't going up against any slouches. He was going against some of the best D tackles in the league, and he was doing his thing. So 360 plus passing snaps with 0 sacks allowed. You can't balk at that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so at the end of the day, I don't know if I would have ranked him 10th. I had him top 15 in guard play that season, but either way, I think last year they messed around with him. They screwed him over, moving him to center, which he has never played before in his goddamn career. You do that, and then when you move him back, Pete Carroll takes the podium and says, "Oh well, he did so well last year. We decided to move him back to guard." We all knew, but last year was just a mess. So, but we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how he competes, and at the end of the day, let the best man win, and hopefully it results in a damn good offensive line this year. That's all we're hoping.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What up, Destroying the Weights? What's going on? See you in the building. What up, Coach Gravy? What's happening? Big dog, good seeing you up in here. Oh,
1,200 gravy. 1,200.
I got to sit back and enjoy. Not live. It was a good time. Shout out to you, Gravy, man. It's always good seeing you back on screen, though. Big dog. Always good.
No, facts. That's my guy.
Oh, 100%. Let's see. Okay, let's do this. Let's get to the next one. But sticking with the deep to back room. Oh shit! Shout out to you, D Menace. Shout out to you. Hey, great again. Good seeing you. Good linking up. Hey, and you got to make out to game. Severe's out there. Y'all can actually we all link up together. God damn it! I told you. Week 1, be out here. I'm gonna be out there in SoFi, and I'm actually gonna try to move something. I'm gonna try to make it to New Orleans. I'm already trying to set the work a little bit. Just don't know if I can pull it off. That 3-week stretch will be insane. I don't know.
Man, you gotta get out to New Orleans, man, because
I know
it can't be me. It can't be me and Chris out there, man. You know,
trouble.
It cannot just be us. We need an adult there.
It'll be trouble. I'm only the adult until it's not right.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Until a lighter shade of brown comes on, then you know.
Yeah. Shout out to you, D-Menace. All right, so Jermod McCoy. Let's stick with the deep the back room. We got a little bit of talks. All right, trading Stooks. Okay, you got Sam Warren. I believe he's out of the Athletic. He's out there in OTAs. He's basically saying Jeremy Chinn and Trey Stooks have both been getting reps at the nickel today, with Ron Johnson absent. When one is in the slot, the other is back deep at safety along Isaiah Palomau. One thing I have said is, depending on what type of defensive scheme on the back end of the defense that Robbie Leonard is going to want to run, if you could run 2 high safety set, I think that's where Isaiah Palomau can thrive. I think that's where Trey Stooks can also play a true safety role. If you play a split safety look, 2 high safety, and you disguise coverage that way. I think it can work that way. But now we got Teron Johnson out. And I've said it before, Teron Johnson seems like a Trey Stooks. They seem like a very similar type of player. Guys that maybe the intention, if you look at how he played at Arizona, he might be playing more in the slot. You just don't know. Depends on what the scheme's going to look like. Yeah. So we're seeing just kind of how guys are playing in the slot. Again, it's early in OTAs, but one thing that's just interesting, and we're going to kind of highlight it. Well, I'm going to blow it up a little bit so everybody sees it. He made it very clear he does not see Teron Johnson out there to start with at OTAs. Question is, guys, is that a concern, right? You go out and you trade for this guy. This is somebody that you intentionally went to go get, right? And you're trying to reset this team. You're trying to make a statement to this team. And I think it's vital that free agents, and I know Nakobe Dean isn't there. We're not going to talk about, maybe we'll talk about Nakobe Dean at the end. But you went and you traded for this guy. You want this guy to kind of set the tone a little bit, right? Make the example. Be out there at OTAs. And if there is a true contract dispute going on, my assumption is that you maybe knew about that going into this. Now, the draft can kind of sway some decisions here and there. You never know how it's going to play out. But, chat, let me know if you're concerned that Teron Johnson isn't showing up at OTAs. He doesn't have any guaranteed money. So that might be something that he's pushing for. But here, man, thoughts on Teron Johnson not being out there at OTAs?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a concern. Yeah, we hear that the reason he's not out there is because he doesn't have any guaranteed money on his contract. So I think his contract is only like $1.8 million or something like that. And none of it is guaranteed. He's a veteran. He's 30 years old. So he's not like he's an old guy, but he's at the age where he wants some security there, especially if you already know, but especially if he's going to be out there playing a very physical position and playing the nickel in the NFL. So just guarantee the guy some money. I think that had to be some kind of expectation that's what he was going to want, because that's essentially what all NFL players want, is some security. And the only security you have in the NFL is, signing bonuses and guaranteed money. So if you don't get that, and then at any point the Raiders can discard him, get rid of him, cut him, and he's left with nothing, right? So he doesn't want to take that chance. So this can all be solved quickly by guaranteeing him some money. And these are voluntary mini camps, so the key word is voluntary. So he's not required to show up, and until he refuses to show up for something that is mandatory, I wouldn't read much into it, especially since a lot of times veterans don't like to show up to this voluntary stuff anyway, and it's even more the case when there's a contract dispute.
I think that's the biggest thing, right? I'm an advocate for players getting paid. I'm a big advocate because, look, the NFL, the teams, they make billions of dollars, right? And so I'm an advocate for players getting paid because as quickly as you want to get paid, the team will move off from you if you get injured, right? You could be literally a thing of the past in a matter of seconds. And so him coming in and or him not attending voluntary OTAs, I understand that, right? If you want guaranteed money, I think that the Raiders right now have leverage because, again, based on what the reports are looking like, Trayden Stukes looks like a Teron Johnson. Looks like he could play the exact type of safety position. You got Trayden Stukes in the second round, so he's going to be a day one starter or should be, right? So the Raiders kind of have they do have leverage right now if they think that they got a guy that can start in front of him. But then again, just what kind of look is it? You trade for the guy. You bring him in through free agency, and then you strong-arm him to basically say, well, no, you're just going to play because at the end of the day, we don't have to pay you, so you can move on. We owe you little to nothing, and you might not find a team. Not the best way to kind of gain a rapport amongst the league and amongst players at times, especially when all you have to do is just give them a little bit of guaranteed. What happens if you guarantee him $2 million this year? And everything else, you could cut him at the end of the season, right? You traded for him, you brought him in. I think it would look good for the Raiders, not just in this situation, but moving forward in other types of trade talk or negotiations with free agents. Give him a little bit of guaranteed money, because I guarantee you would much rather stay here in this situation than go at this point and go test the market. So if you just give him a little bit of money, meet him halfway. Give him a couple million, bang. At least at a minimum, you got a decent depth piece if someone were to go down. But I also do think that it's also not the best look that your veterans aren't coming in to help support the new regime.
Yeah.
New coaching staff, just to kind of have them out there. Like if Colt Miller can come out there, I think I saw a report that Max Crosby's out there.
Yeah.
If you got guys like that coming out there,
yeah.
a guy that you traded for, I think you would hope would be out there to kind of help support this new regime and the new path forward.
Yeah. But, yeah. I mean, those guys got paid though. Both those guys got. I mean, Colton just got paid last year, I think, and Max was like the year prior to that, right? He got paid. So both those guys, they're still sitting pretty in terms of their guaranteed money. What shows last year shows the kind of character that Jacoby Myers has when he was in the middle of a contract dispute himself, and he was angling either for a new contract or for a trade. Yet he was still out there every single day, putting in work with his teammates, being a leader on the team.
Yeah, Troy Gill, you're saying you're not concerned about him not being there. If he holds out when training camp starts, then we start to worry. Fair enough. I'm with you on that. And then I see this one. Goddamn, I see it starred and everything. Goddamn,
at the start to make sure you saw it.
Yeah, I caught my eye. Appreciate it. Jeff, I know you do. Shout out to Jeff. He does a call-in show on Friday. Shout out to him. If you know anybody that's just an NFL fan of another team, on Fridays he does a show. But on Saturday, him and Jason Downs, they do a call-in show. And there's these little kids that prank call you, Jeff. You might get some more prank calls from a random caller after this one, Jeff. I'm just letting you know. God damn it. I got some connections that'll be happily prank call you. God damn it. Getting that off the screen. God damn it. What up, Anthony?
My guys in this starters.
Leo said it was a 6th-round swap pick. It was a late-round pick. It was. But you traded for him, and you went after him. So, again, I think it's just the narrative. It would have been nice to see him actually report the new regime. But, yeah, it's not my concern in any way. Not necessarily. But we'll see how it plays out. Let's see. No, of course you're taking this weekend off, Jeff. Of course. Conveniently. I love it. So, okay. All right, let's see. I got hold on, let me go back up. Okay. I promised we talked a little bit because we also had the Kobe Dean not report. So I'm not sure if anybody heard if there's anything going on with the Kobe Dean. He's not reporting. Is there any severe? Have you seen anything on that as on the Kobe Dean? Because those are the two guys I think that didn't report. You had Quay Walker out there, but I haven't had enough time to kind of look up and see if there's anything going on. Chad, let me know if there's anything going on.
Not that I know of. I'm trying to think. Was he hurt late? Maybe a situation he's still rehabbing. But Kubiak said he's in contact with both of them, and they're both working, or they're, so I'm not too concerned about it, because I can't imagine why he wouldn't be there, unless he had some kind of like prior engagement or something like that.
Okay, Silver and Facts, you're saying that Kobe Dean has a family thing he needs to attend to. Okay.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh God. Okay, Cheeto says his wife graduates. He's with. Okay, cool. All right.
Oh, okay. Oh, congratulations. Okay, yeah. That's you got to be there. Look, he might not make it to the season if he wasn't there for that.
100%. Okay. Let's go, and then we got Yaya. What's going on, man? Good seeing you in the building. Shout out to you, big dog.
My God, yeah.
All right, let's see. Oh, we got just some interesting news. We'll take a look. Remember, hey, news is interesting. We got some news. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. From the NFL owners side of things, NFL owners will vote today. And I think this was a couple days ago. And again, I haven't been able to follow too much. Been crazy busy over the last week or so. Obviously, with Baker Shield, got stuff going on this week. So NFL owners will vote today on limited partner Egon Durbin and Michael Meldon buying further into the Raiders. Per sources, Durbin will buy another 11%, pushing his total interest to 22%. Meldon will buy another 5.4, pushing his total to 12.9. Do you know if they voted? And I heard something that it went through.
Yeah, it's been approved. Oh, I know I want to say the Durbin one and the Meldon one. I think that one was already approved. So I don't know if I don't think they're part of the same deal. I think the Durbin one, I think that was kind of announced earlier, and then they said they were going to vote on that one at the next league meeting. So I think that one was already in the works. This one with Michael Dill and Shapiro and Barada, I think that's a separate move. So I think those shares were bought from another minority owner that had been that were selling off their shares of the team, and those weren't from Mark. I think the Durbin one and the Meldman one, that was Mark selling more of the team to them specifically again.
Yeah, and I think D mentioned that the deal was approved. I heard it was. Just want to confirm, man. Appreciate you pulling that out there. And I think that's Cheeto, you're saying 9.9. I saw the correction, $1 billion valuation.
Yeah. That's how much the Raiders are valued at as a franchise now. Think about when Mark Davis took over the team, they were valued at $761 million. And he's selling off to the team for that much now.
He's done it right. Let's put it that way. Like, on just a business standpoint, Mark Davis has been doing this thing. And shout out to Jeff, man. Throwing some facts out there, man. He's saying all the shares that were just sold were not from Mark Davis. It was shares sold by other minor owners. Mark still owns 44.5% of the team, so he's still holds the majority share. So it's going to be interesting. he's obviously making some moves when it comes to just on the ownership side. And I think it's just bringing more money into the organization. The more money, the more people that just kind of had the deep pockets come to this organization. It's going to be interesting to see what moves kind of happen as time goes on. I've kind of said this over the last couple of years. You look at what's happening to Vegas. This is kind of outside of like Raider stuff, but Vegas was always the gambling city. That's what it was, right? I think they're making a complete left turn, and in the next 5 years, this is going to be the sports mecca of the world.
For sure.
You got Major League Baseball coming in. You got NBA coming in. You got, I think shout out to Cheeto and Chona. They were telling me that Major League Soccer is now coming in. You got the WWE. You got F1 racing. I think that they're marketing to a whole nother set of people, and it's no longer going to be just the everyday person trying to come in and gamble. It's going to be, they're going to cater to the deep pockets, the celebrities, the professional athletes coming in, the people coming in to watch concerts, stuff like that. I think the city of Vegas is no longer, there's still going to be gambling. That's going to be a huge part of it, but I think that they're reaching for deep pockets moving forward. So it's going to be interesting to see just how Vegas looks like in the next 4 to 5 years with all these big sports teams coming in. So shout out to you, Jeff. Appreciate you throwing a super chat out there. Free dog. Cheeto would never have happened. Never would have happened in Oakland.
Hey, you ain't lying.
Never would have happened. Because, I mean, like, we all know. And Jack, I see you put one down here. I wonder where ownership goes after Mark passes. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I think the NFL has to almost force Mark to kind of set that up.
Yeah.
Because if he does pass, there can't just be just a lull of ownership. Like it just can't. It can't just disappear, right? There has to be a set plan in place. And I think that's what they're kind of setting up at this point. To be honest, that's part of the reason why we're seeing some of these moves. Part of the reason. Yeah. Back to Cheeto's comment. Never would have happened in Oakland.
Oh, man. Look, California born and raised, but it was not going to happen in Oakland, man. It was not. They would have to move to like a different city, at the very least. So, the Vegas market it's exploding right now, man. As you said, the they didn't snatch like I understand that the Raiders fans they didn't like Vegas when the Raiders went over there, man. Vegas done snatched both of y'all. They snatched both of your women. They done snatched the Raiders and they snatched the A's. Like they took your girlfriends back to back. Like it's not looking good right now, man. So, but yeah, man. Obviously, Vegas is an internationally known city. Like worldwide, people travel in from worldwide to come to Las Vegas. Like nobody is in like London. Like I got to go to Oakland. Like that's not a statement you hear, right? Like Vegas is a destination city, and when you're in one of those cities, like that's going to boost the value of your franchise. So, I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah. So, and Jeff saying so Davis decides to sell. Durbin gets first crack, and I think is that because Durbin has the most percentage of majority out of all the minority owners?
Yeah. No, because that was the succession plan that was set up. So okay. Yeah. So Mark Davis had to set up a succession plan, and his succession plan was that basically Egon Durden gets the right of first refusal. So if the team ever goes up for sale at any point in time, or if Mark Davis was to, meet his untimely demise, at a PF Chang's restaurant, Durden gets the opportunity to buy the team first before it goes like to the open market.
Yeah, and Jeff, he's following. Says Mark could still sell off more of his shares. He'd be at 20% ownership, still be the majority owner because he is a legacy owner. I got you. Okay. All right. Hey, those details way above my pay grade. So shout out to Jeff. Putting us all on our plate, man. Appreciate it. But kind of going back to Look, it's an NFL team, so I would not be surprised if someone would be just absolutely reaching, going after, purchasing the team in Oakland. Even though Oakland was just a shitty area, right? You'd probably buy it, then you'd relocate it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Golden State did, like the Niners did, stuff like that. So, sorry, the Niners went from San Fran somewhere else.
To Santa Clara, whatever. Yeah, the Warriors did too, right? Then the Warriors go to San Francisco too.
But at the end of the day, though, you're going to move them out of Oakland. So, just to get your hands on an NFL team, you would have people just chomping at the bit to get their hands on an NFL team. But then you would instantly make moves. But would that ever happen under L. Davis? Absolutely not. L. Davis would never have moved probably out of Oakland, or even though I did hear a story that back when the Raiders played their first preseason game, or not the first. There was a preseason game that we played way back in the day in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And L. Davis, I heard that there was rumors or rumblings that L. Davis would always mention that if he ever moved the Raiders out of Oakland, he would always consider Las Vegas, because that one preseason game that they played in Las Vegas years ago, he loved it. So I don't know. It's just stories I heard. But.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is that Mark Davis, and I think he had a bunch of names, so it wasn't just Las Vegas, but he had already had the rights to the Las Vegas Raiders name and LasVegasRaiders.com. He had already had the rights to all of that stuff, so he was prepared for a date and time in the future where that could potentially happen. So obviously the NFL kept them from moving back to LA, and as a result, they were forced to move to Vegas. But I think it's working out for everybody.
I think it is 100%. I mean, we need to start winning. You know what I'm saying? But it's damn sure working out for Mark Davis's pocketbook. And I don't know if this is true, Jeff. You could probably correct me if I'm wrong on this. And we'll go back to the rescreen. But I heard a guy that was just kind of explaining it all, and I didn't try to fact check him because I really don't care. But I heard that Mark Davis, actually, the state of Nevada owns the stadium. Mark Davis actually rents out the stadium for $1 a year, but he owns the rights to all the logos and just the Raiders symbols around the stadium in the concessions. That's where he makes his money, off the concession, and the fact that the Raiders logo is basically all over the stadium. So that's how he gets paid off of it. So he doesn't actually get paid off of the ticket sales. It's just the fact that the Raiders logo is everywhere, so he's getting paid off of that, and then also off of the concessions.
Yeah. I know it was something like that. I don't know if it's the stadium itself or if it was the land that the stadium is on. But it was something. But I did hear that when the stadium was first being built, I did hear something about the $1 a year lease thing, and then that another thing that was set up is that it had to be a multi-purpose venue. So that was one of the reasons why they allowed the Raiders to come here, because it would be used for UNLV as well as other concerts and stuff like that. So that was one thing that was one of the stipulations. But I don't know if it was the stadium itself or if it was the land that it's on.
Yeah, I don't know, but either way, at the end of the day, it just feels like he got himself a damn good deal. And that's why I think his own personal value, just money-wise, has skyrocketed.
Yeah. Oh. And he did another thing like that with the practice facility, where he bought the land that the practice facility is on, then sold it at a massive profit, and is leasing it for super cheap, from the people he bought it from, or he sold it to rather. So he's Mark Davis is he knows how to make money. He knows how to make money.
At the end of the day, businessman, but now his ass needs to learn how to put together a team and get a winning record on the field. So we'll see how it is. See how it is, man. Hey, Cheeto, man. Appreciate you popping up in here. Guys, make sure you guys go over to Cheeto. Hey, Jeff, let everybody know if you guys are going live. I know you guys took some days off as well. Let the chat know when you go live. Cheeto, let the chat know when you guys go live as well, man, so everybody can just tap into just all the content that's going around. But Jeff just yelling at Leo from across the country. I love it. So yeah, cool, Kev. You pay $70 for 2 words. Yeah. It's a tough go. Trust me. I think it's like $24 a beer in that goddamn stadium spot. So look, not a whole lot going on. Severe. Is there anything else? I know you and Pharaoh, you guys talked. Yesterday you guys had your show. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, definitely everybody go check that out. Is there anything else you guys talked about? Or is there anything else going on?
I think Clint Kubiak had a presser today, as well as I think Colton Miller, Ashton Jeanty, and somebody else. I forgot who it was. Colton Miller, Ashton, and who else was up there today? Forgot. But not too much was said. Kubiak, I took a no-dose. I made sure I made it through the entire presser. And he said some interesting things. I think he talked about essentially demanding more out of Ashton Jeanty. He said he wants Ashton Jeanty to step up. He wants him to step up, basically grab that RB1 job by the horns. He said, and he talked about it being a 2-back system, but he also said, hey, look, the great players, they force you to put him on the field. He's like, Christian McCaffrey is the guy that forced me to put him on the field. So, if Ashton, obviously he's not the caliber of Christian McCaffrey, but if Ashton wants to be a guy that where it's not like a 60-40 split and it's more like a 75-25 split, well then, he kind of has to. That's on Ashton. It's on him to show that he deserves that kind of split. So we'll kind of see how he responds to the challenge. He seemed real nonchalant when he was talking, Ashton himself. So I don't know, he wasn't real fired up, but that could just be his personality, because that's the same way Kubiak is as well. So
it does seem like that's just Kubiak. He's pretty monotone. He's not the rah type of guy. Doesn't seem like it. We'll see just kind of how it works out. Look, I was a big Kubiak guy, but in the same breath, I can also say that we got to figure out how is he going to be able to act as the head coach, but also act as the offensive coordinator, right? It's not an easy job. History will tell you that it's not an easy job, because a lot of coordinators, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out more times than it does. And so, at the end of the day, I think that we just got to see just kind of how Kubiak is really going to conduct himself as a head coach. How is he going to relate to players? How is he going to get his message conveyed to the players in a way that it motivates them? You're talking to grown-ass men. And you're not just talking about grown-ass men. You're talking to some of the best athletes in the world. You're talking about guys imagine if you were one of the best NFL football players or just making it to the league. You're talking about guys that have all the confidence in the world, and they're going to see through your bullshit real quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a coach or if you're a player. And so it remains to be seen just how well he's going to be able to relay his message and convey it in a way where these players are going to literally, like a lot of good coaches say, or successful coaches say, these players will run through a wall for the game. So we'll see how he does, right? Again, I'm a big Clint Kubiak guy. I think as just a play caller, I think he's a good play caller, but doesn't always translate to as a head coach. But I'm hoping that it works out, and I'm rooting for the guy. Obviously, we're all rooting for the guy, but
yeah,
it's how it works out.
And the Raiders were, not the Raiders. Kubiak, he was asked about that, right? He was asked essentially how he plans to balance the role, because obviously he's a guy that he's going to be the pseudo offensive coordinator. He's going to be the guy calling the plays, and he basically punted. He basically said yeah, hey, you know what? I got veteran guys on the other side, on the other staff, and I'm gonna be spending almost all my time with the offense. and I'm gonna leave it on what's the special teams, D. Camillus and Robbie Leonard. I'm gonna leave it on those guys to run their respective units. Which in one, I'm on one frame of mind where obviously you want to be in a delegation mode when you're a head coach, and you want to have guys over there that you trust. But you also want to be a person that's like you're providing the proper amount of oversight. And if you're not providing that proper amount of oversight, that's when things slip through the cracks. And usually if you're not providing that proper amount of oversight, you don't understand or you don't know there's a problem until the problem is big enough for it to be in your face. So, I don't think he's yet learned how to balance that, or have that balancing act. But he is a first-year head coach, so I wouldn't expect him to have it down pat right now. But hopefully, he kind of understands that he can't just be focused down almost exclusively on the offensive side of the ball, and he finds a happy balance where he can, do what he needs to do offensively, but also be involved with those other units as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that's the biggest thing about being a head coach. Like, you need to delegate. You need to allow your guys, especially if you're playing OC as well. You got to delegate like crazy, and feel comfortable, with it. Jack, man, hey, Chris couldn't join us today. He has some stuff going on, man. He's going to be with us
next Wednesday.
Hey, no, Big John, you do hope that it works out. Don't lie. Don't lie. I know who you like. But you hope it works out, Big John.
Is he talking about Kubiak specifically or Vegas? I know he was making some comments about Vegas earlier.
Was he?
I don't know if does not work. Want Vegas to work or Kubiak or both? Maybe it's both. John, let us know. Let us know.
Since we let Pete Carroll go, I think he just wants Vegas to burn down at this point. He's done with Vegas. But Big John, deep down inside, we know you want it to work out. D-Money. You're saying Kubiak talked highly of Aiden O'Connell. Do you think he's hyping him up for a trade? Or will he get a shot at QB2 or QB3? Sure. I definitely want to get your take on this. I think what I would say is, I know a lot of coaches, you don't go out on purpose to hype guys up. But at the same time, I don't really know what Kubiak's personality is. And so maybe he's just talking highly about him because maybe he likes certain aspects of his game.
Yeah.
And you never want to talk poorly about a player either. So, but we all know Mendoza is the future, so maybe it is a hype up for a possible trade. Who knows? But Samir, what's your thoughts on that comment?
Yeah, he just said. I mean, he didn't say anything specifically today. He's made some nice remarks about Aiden O'Connell in the past. I think he's a guy on his team on the offensive side of the ball. He's one of the three main quarterbacks in the quarterback room. So I just think he wants Aiden to feel safe and secure and not have his confidence being dinged, because anytime there's a question, the question is always regarding Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza. So I think he goes out of his way to make sure, like, hey, you know what, we do have another veteran quarterback on the roster, Aiden O'Connell. So just so he feels included. But I mean, I think there's a probably a 35% chance, possibly higher, that Aiden O'Connell is not on the roster opening day. So I mean, I think that's a real possibility, especially with a lot of teams only carrying two quarterbacks. I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility that Aiden O'Connell was either cut or, traded to a team that needs, a player with his experience.
Yeah, I mean, all can be true, right? You could hype him up, and then maybe you do a really good job of trying to showcase him in the preseason. We all know how fans like to get hyped up about preseason performances. Look at how hyped up people were on Cam Miller last year. You know what I'm saying? And people were loving Cam Miller because he had the one okay game, right? To throw to Cedric Jackson, stuff convince people that Cam Miller wasn't the future.
Remember, there's a certain quarterback that owns part of the Raiders that was drafted in the 6th round too. This is stuff people were saying. I'm like, come on, people, people.
So I mean, you could, because you know that Aiden O'Connell isn't the future, right? You drafted Fernando Mendoza number 1, and no matter what, Fernando Mendoza is going to play out at least a minimum 4 years on this roster, unless he just absolutely shit. But that's the plan right now, and so would not be surprised. Again, you can strategically do this. You hype up Aiden O'Connell a little bit. Maybe he makes some decent throws in practice, and then you play him a substantial amount of time to where he gets a good look in preseason, does well. You got some trade capital, bang, you trade him. You could play that game. It's a game that could be played. Because Aiden O'Connell, like Severe, you're saying, he may not be on this roster at the beginning of the season, but for sure, maybe he's gone at the trade deadline, or for sure gone after the season. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But man, shout out to Turf. I just won.
Oh man, my dog Turf, my brother, hit me with the smooth. Hey, look, man. Hey, look. If Leo ever say anything bad about you, Turf, I got your back. I got your back, Turf. Leo ever talk bad on you, I got you.
I love it because you know what it was. It's because you guys teamed up so well. You and Turf and Chris on Saturday night. That was a hell of a show. Shout out to Jeff for putting it all together, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Hey, look, man, I'm sorry if anybody that watches, because look, if you go to McDonald's, you don't go to McDonald's for a Whopper, you go to McDonald's for a Big Mac. So the fact that I was over there causing all kind of ruckus, like we didn't come here for you, bro. If we wanted you, we would have been on your channel. And now you bringing your nonsense over to Jeff's channel, like we don't want that. But I'm glad they were able. They allowed me on there to to vent and talk my stuff, and to cause irreparable damage to Afakashi Raider once he found out the Raiders actually did run for less yards this past year than the year before. Like that was like when he pulled up the stats, all I heard was "In the arms of an angel."
There was no way of kind of backpedaling that one. Like you couldn't backpedal your way out of that one. That was a tough one. But that was a hell of a live, man. I actually watched it the next day driving back from Bakersfield, man, and that definitely made my 3.5 hour drive much shorter and much more entertaining. So shout to you guys on that Saturday Night Live, man. That was good. And all I was gonna say, because I said in the chat with Severe, myself, and Chris, I said, look, I'm just happy I did not come across your guys' live that night, because I had a good amount of beers, and I would have just been in the chat, just being obnoxious at the same time. It would have been bad. And then I wouldn't have had a good time in Bakersfield. So I'm happy I didn't see it. I definitely enjoyed it the next day. But yeah, Turf Man throwing those gifts. Shout out to you, big dog. Coleman, hey, look, that's kind of everything that I had. There's not a whole lot going on. Now that OTAs are rocking, I think we're going to have a little bit of more news flowing in here and there, but it's the off season. That's why we're only going on Wednesdays. We typically go Wednesdays and Sundays, mainly because obviously we play on Sundays. And look, we have no primetime game, so we're going to be playing Sundays every single Sunday coming up, unless something gets flexed, right? So definitely get prepared for Sundays. We're going to hit you guys as we kind of get closer.
Did you go through the schedule already?
Hold on.
Oh yeah, man. Jeff was cooking. Jeff came out guns blazing that day. He was done with it. Jeff came out. He came out with the big guns that day.
So here I do got the back. I got let's go over real quick. We'll just talk about it. Okay. Everybody can see it. Cool. All right. Week 1 against Dolphins, home opener. I mean, obviously, I live in the Vegas area, so it's easy for me. I'm definitely going to make the home opener. Honestly, Severe, because it's going to be September 20th, it's still going to be hot. Chat, let me know if anybody's going to be at the home opener. It'd be great to just kind of put faces to names, link up with everybody.
Yeah,
But week 2 we're in SoFi.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to go out there. May or may not go to the game. I don't know. Again, it's hot. And being in SoFi is hot as shit. I'd be down as hell just to go party tailgate and then go watch the game somewhere. But through this first stretch, man, I know a lot of people have talked about wins and losses and all that stuff. I think a lot of people have us beating the Dolphins. Chat, let me know. Do you think we beat the Dolphins? Severe, what's your thoughts on week 1? Win, loss?
Yeah, I mean, it damn well better be a win. If we come out and it better be, I don't just want to win. I want like a pretty impressive win. We don't got to blow them out. It can be a close game, but we better show like some level of good execution, especially offensively. Like I want to see crisp offensive play. I bet if you ask Jeanty, looking like one of the better running backs in the NFL. What kind of Kirk Cousins we get, that remains to be seen. But I want Brock, hoping Brock looks like the Brock of old, coming off of that injury-riddled season, that we get Michael Mayer involved. Jalen Naylor, hopefully he's out there earning his keep as well. So that should be a win, right? There should be a win. The Dolphins are in a tough spot. Look at their wide receiver core. They got rid of basically all of their defensive free agents. Jalen Phillips, Minka's gone. Like everybody's gone over there. So like we should beat them.
We should. Again, we're kind of in the same situation, but we got more of a veteran quarterback that's familiar with Clint Kubiak's system, so he should have a much easier transition. So, I mean, to me, it's tough because week 1, brand new system, brand new coaching staff, brand new players, the whole 9. Both teams have to work out the kinks. But if you're going to win a game this year, week 1 is your best chance to win a game. Yeah. So you better come out. You better win that football game. It's week 1, home opener in your stadium. Let's see if you can pull off a win. Then we got week 2, SoFi Chargers. I don't see us going in and beating the Chargers. I don't. I understand that Jesse Minter's no longer there as defensive coordinator. We'll see just kind of how that defense is going to kind of assemble with a new defensive coordinator. But the one thing we were going to look at, maybe we'll do that next Wednesday, is looking at the other teams' drafts. But the Chargers, they went after offensive line. They're bulking up this offensive line, so they're going to just ground and pound the crap out of us. And let's be honest, Kirk Cousins is starting the first half of the season or just starting out the season. Go take a look at what Kirk Cousins looked like with the Falcons, just to get an idea of what he looked like with the Falcons with Drake London, with Bijan Robinson. You had, what's my boy over there that was with Darnell Mooney. Kyle Pitts didn't wake up outside of that one game, but still enough of a threat that if you can take advantage of it. Kirk Cousins averaged 175 yards for the year in 9 games. Like, not like we're going to go all of a sudden be this 400-yard passing team.
Exactly. So, like you said, with those weapons. Bijan is a threat in and of himself, and he still couldn't
air the ball out, you know what I mean, and free that up. And so I think that's going to be tough. So, Severe, thoughts? Yeah, let us know. Do you think we beat the Chargers?
Yeah, that's probably another loss, to be honest with you. They lost Jesse Minter, sure, but they also picked up Mike McDaniel, right? They're getting Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt back. They should have a healthy Marion Hampton for that game. Trey Harris in year 2, I think he's going to be a better player. Actually, they had another receiver I like better than Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith. Quentin Johnson had a pretty solid year last year. Obviously, Ladd McConkey is a really good receiver. Then Aronde Gadsden Jr., I'm expecting to jump from him. They picked up David Njoku and they picked up a center. The center was probably their weakest spot on the offensive line last year. They picked up a veteran center. So, and like I said, just adding a guy like Mike McDaniel who is going to get the best out of his offensive players. I think that's going to be and then they I want to say they picked up a running back too, right? And then they pick up a running back too. They don't. I think they give Vidal. They have Vidal that who played well last year when everybody went down. So I mean, they've made a lot of additions on the offensive side of the ball, and one of the best offensive minds in the league. That also comes from that Mike Shanahan from that Kyle Shanahan tree. So I think it's going to be a battle. But I think them having home field, not really home field advantage, but them being at home, I think that and the fact that they're going against a guy like a Harbaugh that's experienced, he doesn't usually lose to these younger head coaches. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for us, and I think we eventually lose.
And Mike McDaniel's got the receiver that he wanted in the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Was it Coleman? I believe it was. He was asking for that kid.
Yeah.
He wanted just one receiver in the draft, and they went ahead and they drafted him. If you give Mike McDaniels a guy that he wants with a really good offensive line, because they brought in Jake Slaughter, which is the Florida center. They brought some help for that.
Yes, I forgot they picked up Slaughter.
Yeah, if that offensive line just gets healthy, and you got Marion Hampton back there, it's gonna be a tough go. We gotta have all of our pieces together in order to really challenge this Chargers team. And so, but
they got your boy, right? They got your boy. They got Mesidor, right? Did they pick up? This is them, right? They got Mesidor, right?
God damn, they got Mesidor.
Yeah.
And they got that the Oos on the other side, the white.
Yeah. The Tuliuopu.
Damn, they got Mesidor. That's right.
Yeah, and Khalil Mack and Denzel Perryman, who's solid in the run game, and Dan Henley, who was a damn good player, is all right. They got a pretty good roster. We'll see what the defense looks like without Mentor, but I'm expecting the offense to pick up the slack.
Yeah, that's crazy. Big John, hey, Raiders will win against the Chargers. Screenshot it. Enjoy it. Big John.
Hey, bucket. Just like Clint Kubiak ain't getting the job. Big John.
But then we got, D-Money throwing one out there. D-Money, man. Throwing a super chat over to Severe, man. Severe, he's saying, if Teron Johnson misses camp, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but we'll reiterate it a little bit. You D-Money, what options do the Raiders have? Besides cutting, releasing, do they get anything in return? Severe, what's your thoughts?
Nah, man. It's once that trade is consummated and the physicals are passed, it's a very important part of any trade is the physicals being passed. Once that is done and he gets to the Raiders, if he elects not to show up or whatever, then the Raiders, they have no recourse, right? I think it was Marsh. Not Marsh. Was Jair Alexander? Was that it? That got traded and then he retired a day later or something like that on the team after getting traded, So and the team, you get nothing, right? If you just lose, it's buyer beware, essentially at that point. So that's why it would behoove the Raiders to make sure that if they want Teron Johnson as part of this team, and looking at the age of the secondary and the experience of the secondary, I think it would make a lot of sense for them to want a guy like Teron Johnson on this team who comes from a winning organization, who's played some damn good football at the nickel spot under a Sean McDermott. I think you would want a guy like that on your team. So I think it will make sense for the Raiders to take care of the guy. Obviously you don't want to, you don't want him to take advantage of you as an organization, but I think just taking care of the guy that's a veteran that you traded for, I think that would be the right thing for us to do. But if we don't and we end up having to cut him, then we get nothing.
Yeah, 100%. Some facts that Jeff. We're not even going to start that. That will be Jeff. That will be for a Saturday show. Another one. We'll have fun.
My God. Oh my God.
Some facts. I don't think we're there yet. Maybe we beat the Chargers the second time around. All right, cool, Kev. We should be 4-3 or minimum 2-5. Okay. Jeff 1-6 through week 7. Let's see. Cool Kev, McDaniels is just a nightclub manager running an offense. Let's see. I think that was probably more.
You ran a damn good offense. I mean, I want to go to if he runs a nightclub manager like he runs an offense, bro. Give me a bottle on the table. I'm there.
That was Hold on. Who's the former Arizona coach? Head coach?
Cliff Kingsbury. Oh no.
Kingsbury.
Yeah.
That was a nightclub. That was a nightclub.
Yeah.
Acting head coach. Let's see. Okay. All right. Look, then we got Saints. Okay. Then we got Saints. I got an interesting take on this one. Chad, let us know. Do you think we have a chance at going to New Orleans and putting it on the Saints. Chat, let me know, Severe, what's your thoughts on us possibly beating the Saints in Week 3?
I think this is a game I circled that we could win. The Saints, they have a little bit of an advantage because they had their quarterback last year. They had their head coach last year. They picked up a guy like Jordan Tyson. They already have Chris Olave. They've taken care of their booking tackles and Kelvin Banks and Talisi Fuaga. So they're pretty solid on the offensive line as long as Ruiz stays healthy. They got Etienne to pair with Kamara, so now everything's not falling on Kamara's shoulders. So that should keep him a lot fresher than normal. So I think they're going to be a formidable opponent. Us traveling to New Orleans, in a different time zone, I think that could prove tough. But it'll be. Yeah, I think we can do it. I think we can get it done this week. I think after a tough loss versus the Chargers, I think we regroup and I think we get it done. But this all goes out the window. All of it goes completely out the window if we get unblocked Tyree. If we get unblocked Tyree, it's game, set, match. It's done. He's an unstoppable force.
Man, I'm gonna tell you. Oh my God, could you imagine if unblocked Tyree gets like a major tackle for loss on our guy Jeanty on like 4th and 1?
Oh my God! Look, if he gets a big hit on Kirk Cousins and it starts the Mendoza era, I'm sure the Raiders will forgive him. All the Raider fans will forgive him forever for him starting the Mendoza era. And
I'll lead that into this one. John Fountain said, "Have you guys accepted Mendoza yet?" All right, John. We've accepted that he's our quarterback. And we all knew he was be the quarterback. But
we accepted it before he drafted him.
Yeah. But we'll see how it plays out. We will see. John, God damn it. Anthony in the building. What's going on, man? Silver Facts, you're saying tough ass place to play.
Yeah.
Big John back to his true ways. Lost the Saints. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. No, I wouldn't be. I don't think we'll be favored to win that game. But we know this. We know that Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza would not be out on Bourbon Street. Those two guys would not be out there. Right? Everybody else, we don't know about. Those two guys for sure would not be.
Look, I think for me, there's a good chance that we just meet the Saints too early because you got Tyler Shook that's going year 2 in that system, right? If Jordan Tyson is healthy, with that receiver core, that could be nasty. And they continue on with, or they bring in Travis Etienne. I just think that because it's week 3 with us in a new system, we're still trying to work the kinks out. Kirk Cousins or Fernando, whoever's the quarterback, they're still trying to kind of get the chemistry with the receivers. It's just how this offense flows. You have a young defensive coordinator that's trying to learn how to call plays and understand the adjustments by halftime, those type of things. I think we're going to catch the Saints, year 2 Saints in that system, with us still trying to work out the kinks in New Orleans. I just think we meet them too early. I think there's a good chance that we lose that one. And you still got Dennis Allen over there, kind of working what he can with that defense. And so I think the defense will probably come to play. I don't know what their draft looked like. I don't know what their free agency looked like, if they revamped that defense a little bit or just brought more to it. But again, to me,
I think I got Christian Miller.
What did he on the D line?
Yeah, I think I got Christian Miller. That's the only defensive person I can recall. No, obviously Tyree.
Yeah, obviously Tyree. For me, you go to New Orleans. I just think we meet them too early. And I think they'll just be a little bit more put together. Tyler Shook has a whole offseason in that system and gets time to gel with some of his weapons. Again, I think we just meet him early. Let's go. C-Pool, what's going on, man? Art Davis looks like he demands the crust cut off of a PB&J sandwich.
That's the only way to eat it, C-Pool. Like, do you eat it with the crust? It's a poverty sandwich, sir. Crust on the PB&J.
That's a crustable endorsement.
I demand the crust cut off my sandwich.
Love I love it. Yeah, bueno, Rashid Rice. Should be serving a life sentence.
That's little steep, but hopefully the NFL suspends him because he did violate his parole and obviously positive drug test.
Oh man, okay. So after the Saints, then we roll in. We face the Chiefs. I guess the biggest thing, right? Like, there's a decent little gauntlet that we got to go through, and I think this is a big gauntlet. This isn't. Last year, I broke down the schedule. I started doing that since I started this my channel. And there's always, in my opinion, there's always this gauntlet in a season where you have a stretch of about 5 games. Where outside of that, if you want to have a successful season, if you want to be a playoff win or playoff bound type of team, there's a certain stretch of the schedule that you want to capitalize on. Because when you go through that gauntlet, man, you're hoping to come out 500. I'm telling you, I think this week 4 through week 10 is a gauntlet, no matter how you look at it. So you got Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Rams, Jets, 49ers, and the Seahawks. You can throw the Broncos in that. And that would, I said Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Rams, Jets, 49ers, Seahawks, Broncos. That's a 7-game stretch that you're going through some damn good teams. But the one thing I have not looked at is what does the schedule look like for these teams prior to playing us, right? Last year when the schedule was released, I posted a video really early on basically saying I knew that Commanders game, that Cowboys game, and the Eagles game was going to be the toughest because the Commanders had a 10-day rest period basically prior to us, and we were traveling the East Coast on a short week, right? They had almost a 7-game advantage on us that week, which was wild. Then you had the Cowboys. Cowboys were coming off a bye week prior to playing us or something like that. And then you had the Eagles, obviously us going to the East Coast on a cold game, those type of things. So I knew those games were going to be tougher out the box as soon as the schedule was released. So I want to definitely take a look at Chiefs through Broncos. Just how much difficult is that game going to be? Maybe someone has a bye prior to or something like that. But you look at this, 7-game stretch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This 8-game stretch between the Chiefs and the Broncos. I don't see a game that we can win. I think the only one that I think we can maybe surprise, it's more of just maybe it's because it's a little bit of a rival. They're not as strong as they have been in the past. Maybe the 49ers.
Yeah.
But I don't see a stretch between Chiefs and Broncos right now that I think we can go in going, we can win. Maybe the Jets. Got the Silver and Facts. Yeah, maybe the Jets is. Even if they can get that defense together.
Yeah. I don't even think the Jets. People obviously, Geno Smith had a down year last year. The 2 years prior to that, he was a serviceable quarterback, at the least, a good quarterback, in a lot of people's eyes, especially people that were the film study people. They loved Geno Smith as a player those 2 prior years. That's why a lot of them were super excited when they got here with us and were expecting us to surprise a lot of people because of what he had done previously. You put that with what Garrett Wilson, and then who's the other receiver? They picked up. Did they pick up Denzel Boston? Did they pick up Denzel Boston?
Boston to Cleveland.
No. Who did they pick up? They put that other receiver they picked up. Who did they pick up at wide receiver?
Were they the ones that picked up Chris Bell?
No, it was another guy because Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston went to Cleveland. Who did the Jets pick up? They picked up somebody a receiver. They got another receiver. Obviously, they got
Ken Sneak and Omar Cooper.
Oh yeah, Omar Cooper. Yeah, Ken Sadiq, Omar Cooper, Breece Hall. We already see what they've been doing along the offensive line, improving there. Frank Reich, say what you want about Frank Reich, but Frank Reich, he's been a solid offensive coordinator in the league for a long time, good enough to earn him a head coaching job in the NFL. So I think he'll do a good job there. I think the defense will be a little bit better going into the second year as well. So I think, and if it's in New York in the climate and it's cold and they're more used to playing there, like I think that there's a good chance they can win that game. So I wouldn't even count that as a win. It's a winnable game, yes, but I wouldn't go in there confident saying we're going to win. I think maybe the Bills, depending on what Joe Brady looks like, maybe that they kind of come back down to earth a little bit. I know a lot of people talked about the Patriots last year and how easy their schedule was. So maybe, people are looking at it like it was a little bit of fool's gold last year, what they were doing. Potentially, maybe there's some more fallout from what's going on with Vrabel and Rossini, and we can sneak a win there. Those are two games that you're kind of hoping against hope that maybe you catch a team. Like I said, they just fired their head coach, and you're hoping maybe Joe Brady doesn't have what it takes, or you're hoping that the Patriots, it was fool's gold and Vrabel is distracted. But just on paper, it's hard for me to say we win any of those games.
Yeah, look, we all know that Geno made mistakes last year. He threw some bad picks, right? We all can agree to that. But at the same time, I think Geno is a serviceable quarterback. He's not going to go in there and consistently put up 21-plus points. Like, that's not the type of quarterback that he is. But when everybody kind of points and says, well, Jeanty did bad because he had a bad offensive line. Oh, Geno was getting sacked more than – I don't know what the exact statistic is, but he probably got sacked more than any quarterback in the National Football League. There were times where he couldn't even get the ball and look up before he's getting hit. So, again, I'm not saying Geno was a good quarterback. I think he's serviceable. If you could use him right, then he can win you some games. And so that's why you go against the Jets. The Jets, I'm not going to go into thinking, oh, we're just going to beat the Jets. If we can get the ball rolling, if we can play some good football, then yes, I think there's a chance we can beat the Jets. And maybe you can consider that a possible win. And right now, I got us at 2 wins, possibly. With the Bills, they got the new head coach over there. Remains to be seen just how well he can hold on offense and be a head coach at the same time. So we'll just see kind of how all that plays out. Their defense isn't very good over there. I'm not sure how much they revamped it, but just kind of looking through all of this stretch, I got us at potentially 2 wins. That's what I got us at.
Yeah,
right
I got us about. Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins and the Saints are probably the best bets. Maybe the Jets if we get lucky, but I got us at about 2 wins as well.
Yeah, and Silver Factor saying Aaron Glenn wasn't it last year, and I know his team sucked, but he didn't lift them up. I don't have much of an opinion on that. So you got an opinion on that? I don't know how well he did. Just, record is rough. First year as a head coach. See how it plays out.
I mean, okay, they were bad last year because they had a bad quarterback situation. They didn't have a lot of weapons. They essentially traded away their best players mid-season in Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. So it was a teardown year for the most part. And they still finished with a better record than us, I believe, or the same record as us. So, I mean, what is that really saying? And then, you look at, for example, let's look at Clint Kubiak, the year he was with the Saints. And it was a bad year, right? He had 1 good game, 2 good games that entire season, and then he was dog shit the entire rest of the time. But all we hear is, but it was because of this and it's because of that. And so, if you're going to show that kind of grace to one coach, then show that same kind of grace to another coach, right? Like that's how it should go. So unless you're just acting or speaking with bias, and then you're not going to do that. So Aaron Glenn had plenty of extenuating circumstances, which led to his team not being good. It wasn't all on him. Justin Fields at quarterback is enough to ruin a team in and of itself, right? So I think that if people will say we can't judge a player from last year based on 1 year, We can't judge Kubiak based on that year because this happened or that happened, but we can wholly judge what Aaron Glenn is because he didn't lift this hot dog water ass team out of the doldrums his first year as a head coach. Oh, sure.
I'm with you. That's why it's like, look, I'm not paying attention to the Jets. I'm not focused on the Jets. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't know how it all worked out or played out. It's the first year. We'll see just kind of how he improves. But we all know that we weren't great. We're tied for last. We'll see how everything plays out. But then after the Broncos, then we got this stretch. We got the Browns. That's kind of up in the air, but you know they're doing some good things, trying to make sure that defense is solid. If they can get that quarterback situation figured out, right? They have all the offensive weapons in the world over there. Like, as much as I feel like we've been cursed with all the crap that's gone on in our past with our football team and the tuck rule to the index card to the phantom whistle to Henry Ruggs to whatever, right? If this Browns team can't figure it out, with the defense that they have and the offensive weapons that they have, they might be cursed themselves. Like there's something going on in that organization where I've always said this. Some organizations just stay bad. They just stay bad. Whether it's ownership, the decisions they make, whatever it may be. Browns could be a game that we possibly could win just because of how bad they've been. But if they have all the weapons in the world to figure it out and be a decent football team. And so, chat, let us know, do you think we go to Cleveland? Can we beat the Browns? Let me know, Severe. What's your thoughts?
I think that's a loss. I think it's a loss. I mean, you know, it's even like almost no matter who's our quarterback, to be honest with you. I think if we get Shador, maybe we have a little bit better of a chance to win. He's still relatively young. Maybe Robbie Leonard can do some stuff to confuse him. But if Deshaun Watson, you know, if he returns to form, we see with Todd Monken has been pretty solid at, you know, raising the floor on quarterbacks. You know, maybe they don't always get their ceiling, but he can raise the floor on those guys. We also seen that Todd Monken, he's evidenced basically everywhere he's gone, he has the ability to use tight ends pretty well. Well, what do the Browns have? They're one of the best young tight ends in the league, and Harold Fannin Jr., obviously Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion. We expect those guys to be pretty good. Isaiah Bond, we expect that guy to kind of who did Monken work with last year with the Ravens? Zay Flowers. Oh, and now he gets a guy like Isaiah Bond. No, that's going to probably be another situation where he has a very talented player that fell in the draft because of stuff out of his control. And he fell to the Browns. Super talented guy. Then in the backfield, you got Quinshon Judkins, and you got people didn't even talk about Dylan Sampson. I thought Dylan Sampson was a damn good running back coming out of Tennessee himself. And we already know what they have on the defensive side of the ball, right? Myles Garrett. Then you got Schwarzenegger coming back off his offensive rookie of the year season. In the secondary, you got Denzel Ward. You got Grant Delpit at safety, and I think they have another good corner too. I forget his name, but they have another good corner out there as well. So that defense should be locked and loaded. Will they take a step back potentially because Schwartz isn't there? Yes. When you lose a guy the caliber of Schwartz, you expect some drop off. But I think just the talent over there is so overwhelming that I don't know how much of a fall off it will be, and I don't know if that fall off is enough for us and our dearth of weapons to overcome what they have going on that side of the ball.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that's some facts. They lost 4 out of 5 O linemen last year. We figure out the D line, we win. If not, adios. I don't know how much they revamped that offensive line, because that offensive line was not good last year. I know that one of their better guys retired, I think,
yeah.
But I don't know how much they've revamped that O line. And if they haven't, then I'll be honest, they have possibly made the same mistake we've had and not fully 100% addressing the offensive line. Obviously, last year, this year we got Leonard Baum, so you addressed the center position. But the offensive line is what makes the rest of the pieces work.
Yeah.
That's their full potential.
True.
If the Browns didn't address the offensive line properly, that could be what that brings them down. in all honesty. Because I don't know how much they actually revamp that offensive line. If they have a good offensive line with all those weapons, then that could be very dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, I know last year they picked up Zach Zinter, or was it the year before? It was last year, the year before. And he was a guard a lot of people liked. I think he's out of Michigan. He's a guard a lot of people like. Then, like 4 years ago, he must be trash. I don't think he's played a lot, but I remember everybody loved DeJuan Jones. He was the mammoth right tackle out of Ohio State. But I think I don't know how good he's been in the league. So I don't know what I know they spent a lot of money on offensive linemen this offseason. I don't remember who they picked up though. But I know they spent money there to kind of revamp that unit, because I think they're trying to maximize Quinshawn and Dylan.
Yeah, shot to let's see, MEs, man. Appreciate you saying the Browns' first pick was a tackle. Okay.
Oh yeah, damn.
Who did they pick? Hold on.
Damn, what's my guy's name? God dang.
Oh, they got Fano from Utah.
Yeah, Spencer Fano. Yeah, Spencer Fano. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's what it was. And then they still. I didn't even bring up Jerry Judy because he's a head case, but still a talented player. Like they have a lot of they have a lot going on. And that's like if Todd Monken can get it together over there, they got some pieces to do some damage.
They do. So 100%. If they can put it together, that's going to be a very, very difficult game for us. So right there, I got Jets as a toss-up, Browns as a toss-up. Hopefully we beat up Miami. So that's potentially 3 wins I have so far, at least on my paper. Severe, where are you at right now before the bye?
I'm at 2.
At 2? Okay. Is that you're at 2?
Dolphins, Saints, and then it's a long, lonely road. I mean, obviously division games are always tough. Like we lose 10-7 to the Broncos last year, who were a much better team than we were. So, like anytime you get division games, it's a toss up. You kind of don't want to say you throw out the records, but anything can happen in those situations. But would I pick us to win those games? No.
Yeah, Jeff's Cleveland's off the line right now. Fano, Zion Johnson.
Well.
Zion Johnson was hit or miss last year for the Chargers. Luke Whippler, I don't know who that is. Elkin Jenkins, didn't he?
He was with the Cowboys, I wanted to say. Elton Jenkins. Or with the Packers. Maybe with the Packers. I think he was with the Packers. I liked him, though. Yeah, I liked him.
And then Titus Howard.
He was with the Texans last year, so I don't know how good. I don't know how good he is.
The line was shaky. I saw some really bad clips of that off the line, but I don't know who it was. All right, we'll see. Appreciate that, Jeff. So, yeah, I got 1 win, maybe 3 so far going into the bye.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I got 2, possibly 3.
So, all right. So we got Chargers, Broncos, Titans, Cardinals, Chiefs. Okay. I still don't think we have a chance. I just don't see us beating the Chargers, until we prove different.
Yeah.
It's too early to know. Same with the Broncos. Then you roll up with the Titans.
Yeah.
Here's the question. Chat, let me know. Do you think we have a chance at beating the Titans? Titans got a new coach in Robert Saleh. I think they gave I know that they brought in some weapons. They got Cardinal Tate. I had Cardinal Tate as he was right? Draft. You bring him, you give him weapons. I think Cam Ward and Cardinal Tate, they might be deadly this year.
Yeah.
So, Severe, what's your thoughts against the Titans?
Yeah, I think we win that game. I think, I don't think Robert Saleh Jeffrey Simmons, he can destroy a game for you. He damn near wrecked it last year for us. It took he took like a lot of turnovers, Devin White having the game of his life for us to win the game last year, really. But I think we've upgraded the talent enough, especially on defense, where we should beat the Titans. I do think that no matter who is at quarterback, whether it be Cousins or Mendoza, I think Cam Ward outplays either of them. But I just think that, I think we have enough talent to overcome that. And I think we pull out a win there against the Titans at home. I think I'm marking that down as a win.
And so for facts, you said we've won at least one game against teams that were favorites last couple of years. Pats, Ravens year before, bump it up one, boys. So you're right. There's going to be a game that we win that we're not supposed to. There might be a game that we lose that we're supposed to win, that type of stuff, right? So there are those variables. So I'm with you 100%. Bump it up one? Yeah. So I don't disagree. Jeff, 4-13. Okay. Jeff, we beat the Titans, the Cardinals, Jets, and Dolphins. Cool, Kev. It would be a great birthday gift to beat the Donkeys on week 15. And it's a great point by Severe. Divisional games are always tough. Like, these are professional athletes, right? These are the best in the world. You sleep on somebody, they'll get you. Right? And I'm a firm believer that Houston just slept on us last year.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure they did.
Exactly. Right? I mean, I think that they were – I want to say – I forget the exact scenario, but they're either coming off of a bye or they're playing a divisional game after us to possibly make the playoffs. So I think they just overlooked us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it just became a better-looking game for us, obviously. Big John, you don't like the War Tate bad duo?
What about? I think they picked up Wan'Dale Robinson too. I want to say from the Giants. Really? Oh. Yeah, they got one. And then one of my favorite receivers the year we drafted last year, right, was Alec Ayomanor, the receiver out of Stanford. I liked him way better than I like Besh. He's a guy that's going to be, he should figure to play a prominent role. And I think they got the running back. I think Pollard was hurt last year, right? But they had Tajay Spears. I think he's pretty solid. If Pollard is healthy, he's pretty good too. I don't know what they have at tight end. I think they have nothing at tight end though.
I don't think so, but they got my boy from Florida, Jermod McCoy.
Yeah.
Good fourth receiver, a guy that can stretch the field. He's a 4-3 guy.
He's a weapon. Yeah. I think they got the offensive line. I know they had Skoronski a while ago. And who's the they took the tackle out of Alabama. He's another Alabama buzz tackle. What's the guy's name?
J.C. Latham.
Yeah, he's been. Oh my God,
because there was a lot of talk between J.C. Latham and Felix Fuaga, and I did not like J.C. Latham. I didn't.
Yeah. See, the guy I liked that year I liked Booker out of Oklahoma, and I liked Amarius Mims, but Amarius Mims, he couldn't stay healthy. And I like Guyton. It was Guyton too. Tyler Guyton was what it was.
Guyton balled out for the Cowboys. Yeah. ME's Cardinal social media is really talking up Carson Beck like he's a franchise quarterback based on OTAs.
No. Why they're doing that? They're doing that because Jacoby Brissett hasn't showed up. Because Jacoby Brissett, he's basically trying to extort the Cardinals out of, to give him, I think, a bigger contract. But what he knows, and the Cardinals knows, that the Cardinals aren't trying to win games at all. You can extort me and not show up. That only aids me in my goal to be as bad as possible in the upcoming draft, where there's generational guys like Dylan Stewart and Colin Simmons, and then generational guys like Jeremiah Smith, and then potentially generational quarterbacks like Arch and Dante Moore and Lenore Sellers. And, we see what Hoover does, and Darian Mensah and Chandler. We see, so you can extort me and help me get better draft position. Fine with me. It'll kill two birds with one stone.
100%. I said if we traded back and didn't take a quarterback in round one, let's say we traded back, didn't get Mendoza, didn't go Ty Simpson, Carson Beck is the perfect project quarterback because the amount of experience that he has. I mean, he's been in 2 national championships. He played in the national championship last year, and he's the type of quarterback that can make every throw on the football field. He's proven it for years now in college football. Yeah. So you actually have the groundwork to at least develop a quarterback.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen what kind of quarterback he could be, but the groundwork is there. The experience is there. And he's got the arm, he's got the intelligence. And so if you want a project, I thought Carson Beck was a perfect project to come in and start the process of development. Now, what I will say is a quarterback with that much experience would probably look great in those teams. and OTAs is all on air. So everybody's going to look good when you're throwing one-on-ones and just on air. So we'll see. They're hyping him up. And Severe, I think you make a great point. They're hyping him up because, what's his face hasn't reported camp.
Brissett.
Brissett. So Carson Beck is going to look good in OTAs because this kid has probably one of the most experienced, backgrounds in college football
Exactly.
we've seen in a long time. So we'll see
Remember,
how it plays out. But again, I said Carson Beck, prior to the draft, that he could be a damn good project because of everything he kind of brings to the table. Just remains to be seen what his ceiling looks like.
Yeah. Remember going into the 2024 college football season, Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers were like the top 2 quarterbacks on most draft boards going into that year. And then they both, had tremendous falls. Ewers still decided to stay and leave college, and then Carson Beck, obviously, he transferred to Miami to try to rehabilitate his stock. But so at one point he was a beloved prospect. So if he can capture any of that, I mean, you got pretty good value.
Oh yeah, Jeff feels. This is why it's the up and down of just teams and emotions and stuff like that. Last year we played Philly, we lost 0-30, then traveled to Houston. And do work. It's just like you just never know what type of team is gonna show up, and we're all professionals. That's what they say every given Sunday, right? Silver and Facts saying try not to look backwards, but if we only win 4 to 5 games, it's Jeremiah Smith time, and I don't care if we got traded up. And everybody does like Jeremiah Smith, rightfully so. So look, Titans could be a toss-up. Cardinals. Severe, I think you just mentioned it. They're basically going to be in possible tank mode before the season ever starts. Try to get that consecutive top draft pick. We'll see how that plays out. But I do think, just in short, I think the Cardinals, it's another game that, depending on how our season plays on and develops, you look at the Cardinals team as a whole, there's a good chance that if we start to improve and things start to move in the right direction, the Cardinals game could be a game that we pull off. What's your thoughts? And chat, let me know if you think we could pull off a win against the Cardinals. Severe, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, the Cardinals are not trying to win at all. I mean, they're not trying to win at all. And at this point of the year, maybe we aren't either, right? Or maybe we have Fernando Mendoza in there and he's doing the best he can. So we'll kind of see how it plays out. Either way, I think we win. The Cardinals, could they surprise some people? Like I said, I don't think they're trying to win, but the offensive line, they got Paris Johnson. I think they got another right tackle. Obviously, they got McBride. They got Michael Wilson, who's a damn good receiver. Marvin Harrison Jr., who's a solid receiver, who still has the potential to be an elite receiver. They picked up Jeremiah Love as running back. I think he's a special player. James Conner has been a great story, been a very effective player basically his entire career. So, and Will Johnson out there, we know what Will Johnson is at cornerback, so he'll be coming back. I don't know what else they have on defense though. So, but I don't think it's enough. I think we win this game, whether it's Cousins or Mendoza. I think we do enough to win that game.
I forgot how many weapons they actually have on offense.
Yeah, man. McBride, Wilson, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like that's a nasty trio right there. Plus Jeremiah Love in the backfield. Like it can get wicked. And I think they picked up did they pick up a tight end too? Did they draft a tight end?
I don't know.
Tight end?
Jacoby Brissett is Jacoby Brissett. Like, he's not a guy that's going to throw for 350 yards consecutive every game.
Yeah.
But if you can get Carson Beck just to be a decent game manager, that means if your defense does its job, you might be able to win games 20-17.
Yeah.
With those offensive weapons. So again, I think there's a good chance. Look, there's a good chance we might be able to win that one. We'll see. But again, they could be in tank mode just to get that top pick and kind of get consecutive ways in offseason to kind of build this thing. We'll see. And then let's end it with the Chiefs. It's a divisional game. Severe, you said it. All divisional games are kind of up in the air because they are division games, but until we can prove otherwise that we can consistently beat teams in our division, I just chalk it up as a loss until the Raiders prove me otherwise. So before I get to your take on it in the end, I see Jason. What up, Jason? You're saying Cards had a bad record, but they were competitive in all games.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, what up, God family? What's going on, man? I appreciate you rocking up in here. Oh, shout out to you, big dog. You do on TV. Shout out to you. He came up and he said, "What's up over there, man? It was good meeting you. I think your little boy as well, man. He was cool. That was awesome.
Congratulations, man, on winning that TV. That's dope. That's dope. He say he brought his son up there too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. That's awesome, man. I love to see it, man.
Yeah, that was cool.
Maybe they will be the only people that live long enough to see the Raiders win the Super Bowl. The youngsters are the only ones that live long enough to see.
Man, that was good. Yeah, man, it was good meeting you, man. I appreciate you even just walking up and saying what's up, man. That was cool, man. So I see your comment, Bueno. All right, so let's do this. All right, guys. At the end of the day, let me know, what do you think the record is? I understand I don't like setting expectations because you just don't know how it's going to play out. Shout out to Over in Facts. You know, there are some games that we're expected to win and we lose, and vice versa. Games that we expect to lose, but we pull off some way somehow. But give me what you think. What's your floor and what's your ceiling? Because last year my ceiling was 6 wins. That was my ceiling last year, which meant I felt like we're going to be around probably 4.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Jen Slinger. We were sitting when the schedule release went out, and we were talking about it. And he asked me, he goes, "What's your ceiling?" I was like, "I think it's 6." That's what I got us at, which meant I was kind of around like that 4-win mark. Severe, what's your floor and what's your ceiling this year?
My floor is 2. My ceiling, so let's say we beat the Saints, we beat the Dolphins, we beat the Saints, we beat the Jets, we beat the Browns, we win 1 divisional game, and we beat either the Bills or the Patriots. So my ceiling will probably be about 6. My ceiling. My floor is 2. But I think last year, how I said, I think last year I said if Jeanty was generational, we'd win 10. If he was regular, we'd win like 5 or 6. And if he was bad, we win 4 games, and we didn't even win that. He won 3. So I think a lot of it is going to depend on the running game and Kubiak's ability to kind of scheme these mediocre weapons open.
So, and we do have some mediocre weapons in the receiver corps, obviously. But okay, we got 7 wins. Big John, you got 14-3. You've been saying that multiple times this time, man. I got you. I think I got like ingrained in my head.
I think he meant that backwards. I think John might have dyslexia. I think he meant 3 and 14.
But we're gonna keep the positivity, John, until you flip it back around. Jeff, you got 2 to 4 wins. MEs, you got 3 wins. Jeff, but you got the floor at 0.
Technically, yeah. I mean, it
could be. It could
get wicked.
Bueno, undefeated. Mendoza wins another Heisman.
Maybe his brother does, right? His brother is in college right now.
Hummer, what's going on? You said first season ever. I'm not even watching. Wins and losses, rebuild, year 1. I want to see half the players develop and see how coaches do. All right. And I mean, shout out to you not wanting to expect anything, right? It is year 1 in development, but we definitely want to see just kind of improvement maybe throughout the year, but we'll see how it works out. But I'm with you. I really don't have much expectation.
Yeah.
As relates to kind of wins and losses.
But that's a sad state of affairs, though. You feel me? Like that's when you know. This is when you know you're bad. It's like, come on, guys. It's not about the win and loss record. It's about the friends you make along the way. That's when you know you suck, right? That's when you know you're a bad team. And it sucks that we've been in this position for such a long time, and right now we just want it to be over, man. We just want it to just build towards something, man. Young head coach, young quarterback, young running back, young tight end, just build towards something. Give us something to be hopeful for. We've seen other teams do it. We've seen teams go from winning 0 games to the playoffs, and we've still been stuck in the same rut. So we just want to see something different.
Yeah. God, fam, Eric, man, you saying I think we'll win 10 games and lose 7. Jason, Hummer attack the first 12 and at least have 3 to 4 wins by week 13. then play last 5 as though you're a playoff contender. Give the team a model to feed off of going into next year.
He's going by the Gruden. Was that 98 season model? Or we went, I think we actually went 8-8 that year. Pro Cocker. Yeah, we beat the Chiefs to keep them out of the playoffs. I think it was 98. I could be wrong.
I mean, look, I think my floor is 2. My ceiling, my floor is 2. My ceiling is 4. That's what I got. I think my ceiling is 4 wins. My floor is 2. I think at some point we're gonna pull off two wins. But that doesn't mean I'm sitting there and saying if we only win 2 games or only win 4 games, that it's just an absolute disappointment on the season.
Exactly.
Because I think we're going to absolute rebuild. I think what I want to see is minimize the blowouts. Like if we see some major blowouts late, I think it's going to be tough. Like if we go against the Broncos week 15 and we just get blown out and we just look atrocious, right? Or if we go against one of these 2 teams, the Titans and Cardinals, and we just get blown out, I'm sitting there going, okay. Like I'm not going to be like in some panic evaluation mode, but I'm just going to go, okay, this is not good. Like you want to be competitive towards the tail end of the season, towards those last probably 6 to 7 games. That's be really competitive. If you get blown out early, then okay, that's all right. It happens. Let's recover off of it and kind of finish strong, right? And it doesn't need to finish strong and equal wins. It's more about being competitive, and let's see maybe some of our younger players that we want to see development off, like a Jack Besh. Maybe Jack Besh the last six games. Maybe all of a sudden we see him pulling off a couple 100-yard games. You know, and just see a little bit of development out of it. So I think it's all about kind of what it looks like versus wins and losses. And that's kind of why I'm gonna kind of sit back and enjoy the season and see how it works out. I see DK sitting there. What's up, Tanner Kim? You're saying if we win 6 to 8 games, it'll be a positive season. It just shows we're moving in the right direction. All right, Severe, you got this one. You're saying keep the coaching staff no matter what this season has in store for us. That's a victory in my book. Severe, thoughts?
Yeah, man. If we fire this coaching staff, man, I'll be done. I will be done. So it puts Raider fans in quite a conundrum because, you never want to see my face again. We fire the coaching staff. But if you like the coaching staff, then I'll still be around. So which one is it, y'all? Which one is it? But yeah, we can't keep doing it, man. We got to give the Kubiak a chance to develop. I got question marks about Robbie and about Janoko too, and to be honest with you. But obviously Clint is going to be the person that's spearheading the offense. So let the guy cook, let him develop. Let him get his bearings, let him learn the division, let him learn the correct balance between watching the offense and monitoring special teams and the defense. Like, let him go through these growing pains without having to look over his shoulder, wondering if he'll be fired, right? And even if it's a 1-win season, if it's a 0-win season, that's kind of tough to keep him after that. But but like even if it's a 2 or 3 win season, like all 2-3 win seasons aren't created equally. I think it was it Duncan earlier that said the Cardinals were pretty competitive, or was it Jason? I can't remember. Or they said the Cardinals were pretty competitive in every game last year. If we remain pretty competitive in every game like that, that's a positive sign. Even if we lose most of them or damn near all of them, right? When we come out with 2 or 3 wins, if we're competitive and we show we have some fight and we have a plan and we've made some strides, that's a big win. That's a humongous win, especially on a roster this young. So let these guys cook, man. As long as Kubiak doesn't sock a running back because he fumbled at the goal line, I think that will be good enough for him to keep his job.
And look, like for me, even if we win 0 games, it would be tough to swallow. Obviously, a lot of us will be pissed off because you go an entire 18-week season, you don't win a single game. That's tough. When you got you could almost semi-justify it if you didn't get the top coaching, the head coach in that cycle. But like if you didn't get the top head coach in the cycle and you had to settle for, again, like the Pete Carroll situation, you see they go, damn, it just sucks. But even if we lose every single game, I'm not going to be on the fire Kubiak train. I'm just not. Because One, got to give them time.
Exactly.
Two, we have to stay face as an organization. We have to stop getting ourselves in this cycle of showing other head coaches that you're not going to stand a chance. You're expected to win a certain amount of games or you're gone. Like that, no one will want to come coach you. If we're lucky enough to get Kubiak, you cannot continue yourself in that cycle and label yourself as the organization that does not give head coaches a fair chance, And so, for at very minimum, just save face amongst the league with head coaches. Yeah. So we'll see, though. We'll see just kind of how it works out. But ultimately, again, my floor, 2 wins, my ceiling, 4 wins. I don't have much expectation this season. Let's just see. Let's just get things straight. Let's improve. Let's see some development out of these young players and just see how it works out in the end. So that's it. We're going to end it with that. Kind of broke down the schedule a little bit. I still want to go through the other team as much as I think, it's going to be a rough go this season, win-loss record-wise. I still am going to do the same thing. I'm going to break down the schedule. I'm going to look at what the schedule looks like for the teams that we're playing that week. They're coming off a bye week. Could we catch them where we're their trap game, like the Houston game last week? Yeah. I'll look at that more, and maybe I'll get a different perspective. But just looking at that, that's a hard-ass schedule. I'm sorry.
Yeah, tough schedule. No short weeks, though. No short weeks, fortunately. So last year we got kind of done dirty where we would be coming off a short week and the other team would be either coming off like a bye, or if we actually were coming off a long rest, the other team would also be coming off a long rest too, so we didn't gain any advantage. So we kind of got the short end of the stick last year. This year I think it's pretty cut and dry in terms of like travel and all of that stuff and like the times. But we got just a very rough stretch after those first couple weeks.
It's a rough stretch. That's a rough stretch of like 7 games. We're playing some good defenses. They're going to come at you. And the thing is that if we lean on the run game, let's hope that our running backs kind of through all this in a sense that we don't take on any injuries. Players aren't banged up going into the bye week and the softer part. To end off that season, we play the Titans and the Cardinals. How banged up are we through that stretch? Don't know. Sometimes we got that bye week in week 13. Sometimes having that bye week in more like week 9 or 10 is a little bit better because it's right in the middle of the season. So you kind of get that little bit of a break at the right time. It's not till week 13. So we're going to get a large bulk of that schedule right in the beginning. And then you got that stretch. And even though that 7-game stretch that was tough, I didn't include the Browns. That's a damn defense.
Exactly.
So that could be an 8-game stretch. That's just going to be nothing but tough defenses for the most part. I mean, God, Rams, Seattle, Broncos, Browns, the Patriots defense, the Chiefs defense. Like that's crazy. We're going to end it with, I see it. We're going to bring it back, Jeff. Don't worry. I just had a busy-ass week. Crazy. We're going to bring back to start benching cutting a couple more games. We're going to have some fun.
Facts.
But, hey, look, it's been 2 hours. I actually have to get out of here because I got a ton of stuff. There's a big conference in Vegas on the Strip. I have to go back to it tonight and meet up with some colleagues. It's going to be wild. But, Severe, before we get out of here, before everybody checks out, everybody, do us a favor. Don't touch the screen, but Severe, let everybody know where they can find you. The rest of the shows you got throughout the week.
You guys know what it is, man. The Sphere Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, True Social. Everywhere the Sphere Raider, man. Holla at your boy. Here on Wednesdays, for the time being until we get a little, and unless we get some major news. But Wednesdays with my guy, 805 with some cameos from Chris from Protect the Shield, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays with my dog PharoahNFL. The 50-50 show and Around the Shield, man. Tap in with your boy. Hey, crunch time is coming, man. OTAs are upon us, and then training camp will be right, and then mandatory mini camp, and then training camp right after that. So it should be a lot of news coming out, man. We revamped the roster, revamped the coaching staff. So let's see what these guys put in place.
100%. If we have a winning season, bueno for one live, I will switch up my camera and I'll put it on rec. One time though, just for you.
One live. For one live only.
But according to LS and Dixon, you won't find me with a white shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't own. That's the problem.
You don't own. Yeah, it doesn't. I've never seen 805 with anything on but a black Raider shirt.
I'm not hiding them in the closet. I just don't own them. I don't tell you. So man, Jeff, appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys go hit up Jeff's channel as well as Jason Downs. Raiders First Downs. Go definitely hit them up. Everybody else, DK man.
Oh man, nuts.
Been here.
It's fun. It's probably hot as hell out there.
Oh God, you went to Berry Farm? Oh
yeah,
shit.
it's probably hot as hell out there.
I mean, it's a little bit cool on this side, but yeah, down by Berry Farm, I couldn't even imagine.
I hope you got funnel cake at least. Daniel Kim.
Then D Money, last one. If the defense shows up this year, people are going to change their tune fast.
Hopefully, we got some pieces.
Defense can win games and championships. So we'll see how it works out. Hey, we appreciate all the subscribers. We appreciate all the members. Shout out to all the members, especially Turf, man. On memberships on Severe's channel, man. Shout out to Turf. We appreciate all the super chats. We appreciate all the support. I know it's the off season, not a whole lot going on. Y'all just keep rocking with us. We definitely appreciate it. If, like Severe said, if any crazy news does pop up, we will definitely jump on here and link up and get you guys a little bit of news and something to kind of chew on with our opinions, even though sometimes our opinions ain't as popular. So we always keep it real, keep it authentic. We make sure that we give you what our real take is. And if you rock with us, we appreciate you. So we'll get out of here, man. Shout out to everybody again. Appreciate the members, subscribers, the super chats. We'll see you on the next one. We're out of here.
The Raiders win the Super Bowl. Jeff will go to Knott's Berry Farm again. I think that's the last time. Maybe Jeff needs to go to Knott's Berry Farm so the Raiders can win. Because 84 was the last time we did it. Jeff, the season rides on you, brother. Knott's Berry Farm is waiting for you.
Man. That'd be a wild ride. That'd be a wild ride. Oh, man. Hey. Jason, appreciate you throwing gifting some memberships out there as well, man. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, big dog. Shout out to you. Hey, shout out to everybody that is a member. But you doing that, man, I definitely appreciate it. So, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We'll hit you guys on Wednesday again. If crazy stuff pops up, maybe like a Saturday show that Jeff put together. I don't know. Who knows? Something crazy might happen. But we'll definitely see you guys on Wednesday for sure. So. We gotta do it again. Jeff's gifted on Severe's channel, man. You guys sort it out. We appreciate y'all, man.
These are bribes to keep me away from their show. I understand. Look, guys, okay, I won't be back. Okay, I'm sorry. I won't be back. I'll stay in the chat.
Stop yelling at people. God damn it. Appreciate it, guys. 100%, man. That's awesome. Love y'all. Definitely, guys, go check out their channels along with all the shows they do. Donuts Duncan, as well as Cheeto Linus, J Raider, LV Raider Nate. All those guys, man. Shout them. Go check out Turf as well, man. There's a bunch of content creators you guys can listen to. All of us have different takes, but at the same time, it's just our opinion. You rock with who you want, and just enjoy the Raider Nation. So appreciate y'all. We're gonna get out of here. We'll see you on next Wednesday. Great rest of your day. We're out.